this hour. Funeral services underway for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. The longtime GOP lawmaker from South Carolina died at the age of 71 earlier this month. President Trump delivering the eulogy, calling Graham a member of the family and also a critical part of the Republican Party.
For more than 30 years, nothing of consequence happened in this Capitol without Lindsey Graham knowing about it. Nothing of significance happened anywhere in the world without Lindsey Graham having a view on it.
Earlier at a ceremony at the Capitol Rotunda, Republican Senate Leader John Thune says he'll remember Graham for his friendship and humor. Consumer confidence slid this month with U.S. and Iran hostilities fueling concerns over gas prices and stubborn inflation. The war with Iran now entering its 6th month. And officials in Japan assessing the damage following a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake today. This is ABC News. Cleanup continues across the Midwest following severe storms and a tornado outbreak. The National Weather Service says the tornado that blew through portions of Wisconsin has been upgraded to an EF3. Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Masino stepping down after trying to rebrand the restaurant chain to usher in new and younger customers. More from ABC's Elizabeth Scholze.
She had promised to revamp the restaurant that was founded in 1969 for a younger generation of diners with new menus, minimal decor, and a fresh logo. Well, that new logo...
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has just stepped up to the podium. We go live now to the news conference.
This investigation. We continue to make sure that injured victims receive the care and the resources they need. Yesterday, the medical examiner reported the identities of the deceased. Ashley Whitehead, 44 years old. 56-year-old Ashley Whitehead, 44-year-old Carlos Israel Sanchez Villalba, and 19-year-old Junior C. Nico Sema. Except for the 19-year-old who we believe was involved in the shooting, we understand that all others who have passed or were injured were bystanders. Thank you to those who organized and attended the vigil on the Seattle Center campus last night, honoring and mourning these 3 individuals and all who have tragically lost their lives to gun violence in our city. I appreciated being there, being welcomed in community, including talking with people who knew the victims and connecting with fathers who have lost children to gun violence. I had a chance to talk with vendors, with youth, and others who were at the Bite of Seattle on Saturday, and members of the Seattle Center community about their experiences. I want to go off script for a moment just to share one of the most meaningful moments last night for me. Aaron Murphy Payne, who is the father of Amar Murphy Payne, who was shot and killed outside Garfield High School in 2024, spoke eloquently. And one of the things that he said was that when a tragedy like this happens, often we say, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what it would be like to be there. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a victim or to be a family member of a victim. And he said, we have to start imagining. We have to start imagining. And for me, as the mother of a 2-year-old who spends a lot of time at Seattle Center and knowing that a 2-year-old was shot, I can imagine. And I think Aaron is right. We have to start imagining because that lends us worth the urgency that it deserves. To continue honoring all of those impacted by this senseless act of violence, the community is invited to gather for a silent vigil at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Come support one another. Bring a flower or a written message to the International Fountain, a space for reflection, compassion, and healing. We're working with our Office of Economic Development and the Seattle Center to reach out to the vendors who were impacted by the shooting and to understand what types of support they might need. And we remain committed to working with impacted neighborhoods across our city, from Rainier Beach to the Chinatown International District and Little Saigon to Capitol Hill and North Aurora, to address both the immediate aspects. At the press conference held Monday at noon, I shared a little bit about our approach for dealing with gun violence long term. We are bringing in an expert in gun violence reduction, including youth violence prevention, who will partner with our city staff and our community-based partners to strengthen our coordination and accountability across our existing bodies of work. We are also in communication with and reaching out to the National Network for Safe Communities, Cure Violence Global, the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, and Cities United. These are organizations with demonstrated track records of helping cities to stand up successful gun violence reduction strategies across the country. And we look forward to learning from them about gaps and opportunities to enhance our existing gun violence work. And I want to express thanks to Councilmember Rivera for the gun violence symposium that she recently organized to help to move this conversation forward. We will be undertaking this work in partnership with our City Council, the King County Executive and Council, the Regional Office for Gun Violence Prevention, our elected city and county attorneys, state and federal law enforcement partners, and most importantly, our communities who are disproportionately impacted by the epidemic of gun violence. At the same time as we are advancing new strategies at the local level, we also know that reducing the number of guns on our streets requires state and federal policy changes. We're grateful for the leadership of the governor and state lawmakers who advanced this work in Olympia, and for our United States senators and representatives who tirelessly advocate for common sense reforms in our nation's capital. Let them know that you care too. I want to continue to express gratitude to our police officers who have been working nonstop since this tragedy occurred and are providing regular updates to my office. And thank you to the victim advocates team at the Human Services Department and all of our community partners who are focused on violence interruption. And I also want to again recognize and thank the staff at the Seattle Center who've been steadfast in their support and coordination during an incredibly difficult time. And now I'm going to turn things over to Chief Barnes for some updates on the investigation.
Good morning. As the city continues to grieve the loss of Ashley, Israel, and Junior, please keep the survivors of violence dear in our hearts. We remain focused on getting justice for all people involved in every aspect of this tragedy. That means we have a lot of work to do, and I want to provide you with the most up-to-date information about this active, ongoing, and dynamic investigation. We've been poring over evidence that we have recovered, and we're not slowing down. This includes video, physical evidence, photos, witness, and victim statements. We have dozens of pieces of digital evidence to review and are continuing to review that information as well as searching the area for more. Since Sunday night, we have received more than 80 calls to our SPD tip line, which is absolutely incredible. If you know anything, please call our tip line at 206-233-5000, 206-233-5000. At this point, we have interviewed all survivors and multiple witnesses, and will continue to do so in the upcoming days. Our hearts go out to these survivors, the families of victims, and our community. This is nothing short of a tragedy. We've had questions concerning camera footage. We have no real-time crime center cameras in that area, but we are currently reviewing all available camera footage in the entire area. This effort is being led by our homicide detectives as well as our SPD digital forensics team. We actually have a team of specialized investigators that know how to access, find, and download camera footage. This is not the case for a lot of police departments, so I want to highlight that work. We're still working on identifying other potential witnesses and continue to ask the community for support. Again, if you know something and yet you have not had an opportunity to talk to us, please call that number again, 206-233-5000. You can remain anonymous, but due to the high levels of calls that we have been receiving, if you leave a message, someone will get back to you as soon as possible. I also want to make a plea to an 8th victim, potential victim, that showed up at UW on Sunday. This person checked himself in with a potential gunshot wound. Due to legal barriers, we're unable to acquire the identity of this person. However, if you are that person, please reach out to us. We would like to make sure, number one, that you're okay, and number two, if you would like to speak to an investigator, please reach out to us so we can determine if you may have seen what had happened. I want to be clear that we have 2 deceased and 4 identified injured people who are not related to the suspects in any way. They are innocent victims of this senseless act of gun violence. Right now, we're working with witnesses to identify those who may have been involved. While there has been information swirling that we're looking for only one suspect, we're not saying that. It's possible that there could be more, but due to conflicting witness statements, we're trying to determine who was involved. Once we have that information, we will release that and that suspect description or suspect's description to the public. I do not believe that there is an immediate danger to the public because this was a targeted incident. There are families grieving who have lived through a total nightmare. They deserve justice. We want to hold those accountable, and we want to be responsible and responsive to our community. As we discussed yesterday, we believe this is linked to gang violence, and we're working to determine the groups involved and what their relationships may be. Let me add that we're also working with our federal partners, state and local partners, as a part of this investigation. To the investigation, we recovered 14 shell casings from 2 different caliber of weapons during our processing. On the scene that night, we recovered a polymer 80 9mm ghost gun with an extended magazine that had a 33-round capacity. And when it was recovered, there were 19 rounds in the magazine. I'm going to repeat that. On the scene that night, we recovered a polymer 80 9mm ghost gun with an extended magazine that had a 33-round capacity. When we processed that weapon, there were 19 rounds left in that weapon. Those who may be unfamiliar, a ghost gun is an untraceable weapon that lacks a serial number. They are typically homemade and they are illegal. This was the firearm that was recovered from the 15-year-old suspect who was in court yesterday for assault and weapons violations. The second gun we recovered was a Spring Armory model RO compact 9mm with a standard magazine. There were 7 rounds in the magazine, and we do not believe this weapon was used in the incident. A third firearm was recovered by patrol officers yesterday during the food vendor cleanup effort. This was a Glock Model 45 9mm pistol with a fully automatic switch. It had an extended magazine with a 40-round capacity, and 21 rounds were left in the magazine. I'm going to repeat that. The third weapon was recovered by patrol officers during the food vendor cleanup effort at the Seattle Center. This was a Glock Model 45 9mm pistol with a fully automatic switch. It had an extended magazine with a 40-round capacity, and there were 21 rounds left in that weapon. Our detectives believe that the polymer ghost gun and the Glock 45 were used in this act of violence, but we are still waiting on ballistic testing to be completed. We're working with the Washington State Crime Lab to expedite this testing. At this time, we believe that none of the firearms reported were stolen, but we're still working to do what we call a trace on that one weapon. Again, we are relying on help from our state and our local and our federal partners. This is hard work. We continue to investigate. Our investigation is far from over. We know that the summer is not over. We still have outside events. We still have concerts, festivals, and big group gatherings. I want to assure you that we will be upstaffing these events throughout the course of the summer. And for our friends at the Seattle Center and our colleagues, we are here to provide any help or support that you need. And let me finish by saying this. We know that our community is grieving. People have a lot of questions, and we're doing our best to answer those. We know that the families of these victims are grieving. I attended the vigil last night along with the mayor and had an opportunity to see some family members and experience an amazing community-led event. And it was really, for me, it was truly an honor to be there with the family. For our officers and first responders who ran toward gunfire, and was able to disarm a 15-year-old with a very dangerous weapon without a use of force should be complimented. And so I want to thank our officers, our first responders, our firefighters, our paramedics who also ran toward danger to render aid to people, which included a 2-year-old that was shot. I want to thank them for their work. We need the community's help in resolving this and making sure that all who were involved in this are held accountable. And we also need your help to make sure that if you know of any existing or ongoing conflicts, that we as adults, that we as community members work hard to resolve those conflicts to ensure that something like this does not happen again. I believe we can do that through the power of community. Thank you.
This is Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. They have a live press conference going on right now, and I think they're going to open it up to a couple of questions from the audience and the reporters.
Automatic ghost guns were involved, and I cannot stress enough that this is why we have initiated a multi-pronged approach to fight gun violence. There's not, one thing that we can do that is going to solve this problem. We need to do many things. We'll take some questions now.
Mayor, I think we just heard from the chief of the struggles with solving this crime, and that there were not real-time cameras in this area of Seattle Center. This speaks to what proponents of that whole system have been asking for, which is more cameras in this city. Did your perspective change based on the inability of the police department to solve this crime?
So the police department is continuing to work on solving this crime. As the chief mentioned, we do have footage from cameras at Seattle Center. My understanding is the police department is also reviewing footage from private businesses around Seattle Center to see if there is relevant information there.
But in terms of the expansion of the program, which has been an issue for you since the start of your mayoral administration, does your perspective change based on what we have talked about now over the last 48 hours?
So CCTV cameras at Seattle Center have, to my knowledge, never been part of the proposed expansion to the CCTV camera program. And we are continuing to follow the course that I charted out earlier this year, which is we are awaiting results of a data security and privacy audit, and an evaluation of the pilot program is ongoing, and there will be a public conversation and decisions made on the basis of what we learned from those.
Why were there no alerts, text alerts sent out? This is an issue that Bob Kettle now has said was a valid question to be asked going forward. The alert system, Alert Seattle, did not tell anybody that there was an active shooter, did not tell anybody the Seattle Center was closed. What have you found out in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a valid question, and we're going to be working closely with SPD and with our Office of Emergency Management moving forward to make sure that we're using every possible avenue to get information out to the public in the future.
Quick question for the chief. We have new information now that is shedding light into that 5-hour delay. We have new information coming in saying that between 7:45 and 8 p.m. Sunday night, that someone in your office talked to SPD leadership saying that they could not hold that press conference, and SPD leadership wanted to actually hold it immediately, and they were told it was because of dignitaries. So I'm going to ask you again, did anyone in your office tell SPD leadership that they could not hold that press conference between 7:45 and 8 p.m. Sunday night?
That is not my understanding, no.
Do we know if there's anyone else in your office that are making these calls without your knowledge?
That is not my understanding, no. So my understanding, which I shared yesterday, is that first of all, we had a lot of communication going back and forth between my office and SPD and our state and federal elected officials as we were trying to work together on the response to this incident. Hold on. And like I said, at Seattle Center, we had a scene of active investigation where the police were actively looking for suspects. And so my understanding is that we were told that it was not helpful to have me or other elected officials coming down to the scene while that active search was going on. And so we went back and forth and eventually landed on an appropriate time to address the press and to share information. That is my understanding.
Is there a protocol right now, if there is a big event like this, that SPD has to clear it with your office? Is there some type of indirect order or an official order from your office where they are handcuffed and can't hold a press conference?
No.
I think what makes it difficult to believe is because they have had significant training that we have heard about. They've paid tens of thousands of dollars to be trained by consultants. So they know exactly how to handle a situation like this. They have the information. They know when to put the information out. They know exactly how to do it. And they have certified, trained professional law enforcement who are well able to handle this without your attendance or anybody else. So how does this happen?
I just answered that question in my response to the other reporter. Thank you.
Would you do this again?
Let's do James, and then we'll do you again.
Chief, quick question for the chief. This gunshot victim that turned up to the hospital, it's my understanding that the hospital is compelled to notify the police when a gunshot victim comes in. Did that not happen?
I learned about this after the person was released, and so we cannot compel the hospital to give us information on that person, so we were not able to speak with them. I believe our detectives did try to speak with that person. That did not happen, and so now we voluntarily need that person, if they indeed was injured, there to come and speak with us. If you know this person, or you are listening to this press conference and you know something, please call that number. I think it's important that we get every piece of information. Again, it could be possible that it wasn't involved, but it could be possible that it was. We're trying to piece together a lot of moving and different parts, and so we want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned. And so to answer that question, my appeal is to what do we do forward? Moving forward, if you are that person, or you know that person, or you're willing to give us information, you can do that anonymously. Please do that. This is a ongoing and a very complex investigation, and every piece I think is very, very important. So that's all I'm saying.
Follow up here quickly. So are you saying that the hospital isn't compelled to call?
No, I'm not saying that they're not compelled. I'm saying that our officers were not able to, our detectives were not able to speak with them. I'll give you further information a little bit later if you contact our office as of what that process looked like. But I know that we would like to talk to that person, and we cannot compel the hospital at this point to give out that information because of him.
Chief, thank you. Hi. So for the chief, is there anything else that you can share in terms of description of suspect or suspects? It seems like it's been a while and there's not much out there, but maybe aid these tips that you're looking for?
Yeah, we're still trying to determine suspect description. We have so many people who are calling in with information. What we try to do is to get the commonalities in those: height, what they were wearing, age, description, ethnicity if we can, so that we can give out proper information. I want to. I'm not certain if the sergeant saw that or if that's a part of the original description, but I can get you that information.
Are you saying there's I mean, I know that you've looked at a lot of video footage and you're still reviewing that, but you know, it doesn't seem like there's been a lot of detail in terms of suspect announced potential suspects.
Yeah, potential suspects. Yeah, we want to. Yeah. Not at this time, but again, that's why we're having these regularly as information as we can verify. We want to make sure that we're correct so that we can put out information so that our public can help us. You never know. People often take videos, selfies, you could about imagine. And so if we do get a very good detailed description that we can use, then we will do that. We also have body-worn cameras. So if our officers had something on body-worn camera that we can confirm, we want to do this. We want to get it right, and this is very, very important. I've done these investigations before throughout the course of my career, and sometimes that early, quick information may not be accurate, as you know. But at this stage of the investigation, we need to take our time, we need to do our due diligence, and we need to make sure that we can get information that can be actionable and that we can find out if someone may be a person of interest or a witness in this case.
Chief, can you address what happened yesterday following the press conference?
I'm sorry, and then my hand is up back here.
Okay, and then we'll come back over here.
Chief, you said yesterday, I reported based on several sources that you had planned to be out of town during the month of August. You said that reporting was inaccurate, and I've been unable, unfortunately, to get your office to respond to me. So what was inaccurate about that reporting?
I not plan on being out of town the entire month of August. If you said the entire month of, no, not at all. I have some medical procedure on Friday. If I'm good to go, I'll be in the office. It's my usual cheerful and bubbly self. But if not, I'll take all the time that I need to make sure that I'm okay. If that's all right with you. That's I've asked and answered.
And then Michelle, and then we'll get. Oh,
thank you, Chief. What I wanted to ask about is how does the department effectively investigate gang activity without a gang unit?
Well, we have our gun violence reduction unit. They take the lead on most of those cases, as well as our intelligence unit. We do most of it during our 2 gun screening calls that we do on Mondays and Thursdays, where we're analyzing where gun violence is, any potential flare-ups, and making sure that we're monitoring people who may be actively using weapons or even have warrants to make sure that we can get those persons into custody. But all of our officers, this is a full complement of everything that we do with this particular agency. And we always look to make sure that we can make changes. For example, one of the changes that we made, our community response group, they're moving from patrol to investigations. We did that maybe a couple of weeks ago as part of our reorg to make sure that we're getting the support that we need when we hear that a violent crime may involve a gang member.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Bowles with Redeem Wellness Center, one of your partners, one of your 19 agencies, Mayor, that you have working in the evidence-based violence intervention project. We are part of the hospital-based part. We are also part of the state's evidence-based group. Are you aware we have not been paid? We have not been paid by the city since April, but we have been working. We have been working. We have been receiving clients. We have been receiving referrals. We have been taking care of gunshot victims and their families. We have not stopped any work, but this office refuses to process invoices, refuses to pay us under a reimbursable grant. I have written your office, Joy Hollingsworth's office, your office. How many offices does it take? And this is why.
All right, you can hear where they're getting a little bit, a little far afield, it feels, from maybe the point of the press conference.
Well,
and
violence prevention is a key part of addressing the crisis that's facing the city that this whole situation stems from.
Yeah.
But they're getting a why ain't we being paid? It's time to.
Yeah, this what you just were listening to, that was Mayor Katie Wilson, that was Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes addressing reporters, and this is now the 1, 2, 3. Would this be the 4th press conference that they have held in the wake of the Bida Seattle shootings?
I believe 5th. This was
11 p.m., 2 yesterday, and then 1 today. Is that
4
right?
4 p.m. yesterday as well. So
yeah. So this would be the 4th, and it doesn't matter anyway.
Okay, yeah.
They're having to address the reporters a lot, and we just heard a lot of information there. We got some information on what type of weapons were recovered. Initially, they told us there was 2 weapons, and now it sounds like there was 3 weapons. There was a ghost gun they talked about. They also talked about
suspects.
This was the other thing. This is the first time that we've heard mention of them being not saying there's just one suspect on the loose that they're still looking for, but possibly more than one suspect. There's a lot of stuff to chew on here.
The fact that the 8th injured individual mentioned in news coverage yesterday was a gunshot wound that was self-checked into the hospital university.
Yeah, I went to UW.
But they don't know who that was.
Police didn't have access to that person for some reason. You heard our own reporter there, James Lynch, ask that question. Aren't hospitals required when it's a gun wound?
Yeah.
Because of this exact type situation, aren't they required to call the police? And for whatever reason, it sounds like either that didn't happen or police weren't able to respond in a timely manner. Then that person might have gotten out, and now police can't be, they can't compel the hospital.
Because of privacy concerns from the patient, which I understand, but
I assume that's HIPAA laws.
You're talking about a potentially dangerous person in the community who's involved potentially in a gang-related mass shooting. It seems maybe that doesn't trump HIPAA law.
We also don't know if that person had, we don't know if they were involved or if they just have really relevant information on what happened.
Right.
Because there is still this, at least one, possibly more shooters on the loose. Here's the thing we're going to get into when we come back. We're going to take a news break here in just a second. When we come back, we have a lot of stuff to chew on. We're going to play some of these cuts. One thing I can tell you for sure, every single time I hear one of these press conferences, Katie Wilson is on her back foot. And you heard her. She had if you're just tuning in, she had a pretty testy exchange with 2 reporters there that we're going to play again for you. And the other question it brings into mind, we have been told multiple different stories about available cameras in the Seattle Center area. Initially, we were told by Assistant Chief Tyrone Davis the night of. He says, yes, he said, no, it's my understanding there's no cameras. And then we heard that there was cameras. And now she's saying there's no cameras. So we're going to get into all that when we come back.
It's a blind spot for the camera coverage of Seattle Center.
But we got some news coming up, and then we'll be back on the other half of it. Stick around.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Well, as Seattle police continue investigating Sunday's deadly shooting at the Bite, some vendors say they suffered another blow after the chaos. They fled their booths as gunfire erupted, leaving behind cash, merchandise, and personal belongings. When they were allowed to return yesterday, several discovered that their items had been stolen. This business owner tells KIRO 7 TV.
With all the different vendors I see here, even if they're in state, out of state, they pour their heart and soul into having a small business, and this is really what makes or breaks it for them.
And now just coming in, police have recovered 3 guns from our news conference this afternoon. They've told us they've recovered 3 guns from the scene of Sunday night's gang-related mass shooting at the Seattle Center. Seattle Police Chief Barnes says they include a polymer 89mm ghost gun with a 33-round magazine that was taken from the 15-year-old suspect that night. A Glock 45 with a fully automatic switch and a 40-round magazine was found the next day during a vendor cleanup.
Our detectives believe that the polymer ghost gun and the Glock 45 were used in this act of violence, but we are still waiting on ballistic testing to be completed.
Barnes says it looks like the third gun was not used. 3 people died, including one of the suspected shooters. Barnes says at least one other suspect is on the run, but they have no description to release yet. The man behind a deadly courthouse rampage in Seattle has died. Wait, I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. I've got a bunch of news stories rolling in at once. Pierce County deputies say community tips helped catch a wanted man accused of a strong-arm robbery outside the Parkland Spanaway LA Fitness just before 5 Monday morning. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
The victim, a 65-year-old man, says the suspect yanked him from his pickup and drove away. After the vehicle's photo spread on social media, callers reported multiple sightings around Spanaway. A detective finally spotted it near Spanaway Lake Park, and a pursuit followed. Deputies eventually arrested a 22-year-old suspect who now faces robbery charges and outstanding felony warrants. Deputy Carly Capetto.
He was confirmed to have felony Department of Corrections warrants for assault in the 3rd degree.
Fortunately, the victim wasn't seriously injured. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Let's check out your traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports and North 5 and Wildways on Federal Way. This fatality investigation still blocks 2 right lanes. You've got a 4-mile backup to 54th Tacoma to Federal Ways at 50 minutes. Got a crash northbound on the 1st Avenue South Bridge and 2 right lanes. And South 5, we're slow from Northgate in the downtown. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. And now your weather, mostly sunny and 74 today, and then sunny through the rest of the week. Sunny and 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We just finished seeing a press conference between Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, also Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes was there, and with reporters. And we got a lot of audio we can get through with you guys. It was quite a testy back and forth. It's been interesting to watch because after the Bite of Seattle mass shooting, you then had information get out that seemed to be a little confusing. And it is just, I feel like they've just been kind of playing cleanup with how they're dealing with the press as, in the aftermath. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Spike, but it feels like this was not the way that they wanted this to go. And also,
no, they've been in cleanup mode since 11 o'clock Sunday night. And, the mayor's office released a statement without how many people were incarcerated or arrested.
Yeah.
Post-shooting, that was errant. So they said, okay, we're going to wait until we get it right, which led to the 5-hour lack of any communication with the community about potential dangerous situations or what we knew or didn't know about the mass shooting.
Which is still confusing because the Seattle Police PIO came out and told all the reporters who were all there waiting for something. Again, you got to remember, this is in the aftermath of a shooting. You have multiple people dead. You have a festival with tens of thousands of people who run off, scattering, then hunkering down, sheltering in place.
Oh, yeah.
We have all these news stories. We have all this audio. These people who were literally hiding in restaurants, waiting for some information, and they get nothing. There's an alert system down there that they could have sent to phones within a certain range to let them know, here's what you need to look out for. You're safe to go or you're not. None of that was activated. And then they wait 5 hours. And then the question that everybody was asking was, well, who are these dignitaries and why are we waiting for them when the relevant information can be given to us right now from the police to the audience, to the viewers, and to the people who are still stuck down here? Because those are the ones who need to know the information. So Katie Wilson was asked about that by 2 different reporters. And this back and forth, again, they need to do some cleaning up on what her story is here, because it's not working.
Ask you again, did anyone in your office tell SPD leadership that they could not hold that press conference between 7:45 and 8 p.m. Sunday night?
That is not my understanding, no.
If we know if there's anyone else in your office that are making these calls without your knowledge?
That is not my understanding, no. So my understanding, which I shared yesterday, is that first of all, we had a lot of communication going back and forth between my office and SPD and our state and federal elected officials as we were trying to work together on the response to this incident. Hold on. And like I said, at Seattle Center, we had a scene of active investigation where the police were actively looking for suspects. And so my understanding is that we were told that it was not helpful to have me or other elected officials coming down to the scene while that active search was going on. And so we went back and forth and eventually landed on an appropriate time to address the press.
Let me pause there real fast.
Yeah, well, we have evidence to the contrary. That may not be the mayor's understanding of what happened, but there's documented evidence that someone from the Seattle Police Department told reporters gathered there was be waiting for dignitaries to arrive to make a statement. So if the mayor's not aware of that, if it's not something she's aware of, we need to figure out what the hell's going on with the messaging policies and patterns of the mayor's office and SPD. Secondarily, whether it's not safe to be on Seattle Center, whether dignitaries on Seattle Center grounds would be intrusive to any kind of situation where you're trying to secure an area, that doesn't mean information, as you pointed out, can't be given to the community.
Yeah, 5 hours is an extraordinary long time to wait.
A press gathering on the steps of City Hall.
Here's the other thing. We now have information they've given us about the different guns that were recovered, the amount of bullets that were fired. Listen to some of these weapons that I wrote down here as they were talking. They talked about, let's see here.
And most of this is new information.
Yeah, they just gave it to us a couple minutes ago.
It's been going on almost closing in on 48 hours.
A polymer 80 9mm ghost gun, which means it's untraceable. It's
and homemade, right? So ghost guns they make them at home basically, or they?
Well, a ghost gun means it's been serial number has been cleaned off,
or sometimes fabricated through
or possibly
3D printing.
Maybe a 3D printing.
Okay, right.
This had an extended mag with 33 round capacity with 19 rounds left, which means it fired 14 rounds.
It's a safe assumption that the 14 rounds were fired from that weapon.
This is untraceable. Obviously, it's illegal. This was in the hands of the 15-year-old who got arrested. You then had another 9mm that was just a standard mag, 7 bullets. It was full when it was found, which means it possibly wasn't fired.
Used in the shooting, right?
Then they had a third one, which was a 9mm, again with another extended mag, which was 40 rounds, that was basically missing half of its bullets. So there was 21 still remaining.
And that was recovered during the cleanup of the vendors post-incident.
Yes.
Which means it was dumped probably by whoever ran from the scene.
Possibly.
I'm assuming here.
Possibly. And you're sitting here like they have all this information. This would have been relevant information to get. Mostly the thing that they needed to get out to the public at the time was, and this is, again, 5 hours. If they had any type of description, and it doesn't sound like they do, but if they had any description or anything for the public to say, hey, there is possibly one, if not more, people involved that have now gone out into the community, this would be really relevant. It's very possible there is somebody who is a murderer who escaped from this situation that is now a day and a half removed. I mean, the odds of finding this person feel very, they're getting smaller by the day. And it also makes me think, why don't they have CCTV cameras at Seattle Center?
Well, the mayor was asked about that directly and did the recent instance last 48 hours change her perspective, change her point of view on
and she said to that,
closed circuit cameras. We're waiting for results of a survey or of a test, right?
She says waiting for an audit on the privacy issues related to those cameras.
Okay,
is that a satisfactory answer for you?
Not at all.
We just have 2 people that have just been killed.
Yeah, I think
a third that might have been involved that was also killed.
I think the fact that we don't know who we're looking for or how many people we're looking for because of a lack of surveillance coverage of public space like Seattle Center, that's the results you should be looking for. They're in. We need more camera coverage at Seattle Center. There is camera coverage, CCTV camera coverage of Seattle Center. This event took place in a blind spot. It's not like these people were master criminals who found the blind spot to take this, to start this
they just got dumb lucky that Seattle's unprepared.
Exactly. And so if this hasn't changed the mayor's perspective of the need for further surveillance in this, as SPOG President
Kent
Lou told us sometimes this is the only witness, the reliable witness of a crime. And Chief Barnes said we're listening to all conflicting witness reports so we can narrow down. We look for similarities in witness reports so we can narrow down a description or a number of people or what was the actual case involved.
If I go
cameras don't have to. They don't have conflicting stories. They have hard facts.
If I go into a Safeway, I'm on camera. If I go into a DOL, I'm on camera. There's literally, it's like you can make the argument that, you don't want them in public space, you don't want them in private spaces. I understand that, and you're not required to have them on people's private homes. But in public spaces like this, nobody has a problem with cameras at the DOL because for safety and security, they've recognized that's a good idea. So why not in these public spaces where you have these mass gathering of events when tens of thousands of people are going to be there? Here's the other thing that I think is a problem. I was kind of surprised by this. I heard somebody ask at the initial press conference the night it happened. Somebody said, is the gang unit going to get involved? And that was quickly kind of like pushed off to the side. And they said, we're working with all different agencies to get everybody as involved as they can. Seattle SPD doesn't have a gang unit. They disbanded in 2020 for, whatever reason they decided. And they have not had a dedicated gang unit since. There are other police agencies in the state who do have dedicated gang units. You go to Everett, even Bellevue has a dedicated detective that just works to combat gang violence.
And Chief Barnes did say they're working with other agencies in conjunction with other agencies.
I understand, but there's I was reading this article.
They gang agency.
I was reading this article from 2016, which is just 10 years ago. And it seems like from a totally different era. King 5 highlighted this. And I pulled it up from 2016 from King 5. But they wrote this article about Seattle Police Department's dedicated gang unit, which had like dozens of officers involved. And it was all of the stuff that they did to prevent something like this happening that was really interesting. They were aware of which gangs were active, which ones might have a beef with each other. They would go around, they would look at graffiti to find out who was marking which territories so that they knew who to be watching out for in the case that a big event was coming up. This was something that Seattle used to do actively, and then it became unpopular to have gang units. And so Seattle just wiped it away. So my question would be, do you think we should bring back the gang unit? I think it's probably high time. If other cities see the need for it, I don't see why Seattle wouldn't as well.
I'd like to know what the thought process behind disbanding it. I mean, clarify that for me. And you're right, absolutely.
It was 2020. Take a guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got a lot more coming up. We got some audio from this we're going to get to. If you guys haven't heard some of these cuts from this press conference we just did, there's a lot of question marks. I feel like every time they have one of these press conferences, it's now feeling like it's the press versus the mayor, and that's not where you want to be.
No, absolutely
you want to have
not.
the press like there to help spread the information, and you want the mayor to be leading. It doesn't feel like she's leading in this situation. It feels like she's playing defense, and something's obviously not working out. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We'll get into much more on the other side of the break. Stick around.
I heard a lot of gunfire.
It really sounded like a firework at first.
A community searching for answers.
Breaking news, a mass shooting at Seattle Center.
500 plus people just like stampeding our way.
It was horrible. The kids right there screaming, trying to get their dad.
The station you trust when it matters most.
Detectives are working to track down everyone involved.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. After a mild winter, forecasters are predicting above average temperatures this summer across western Washington. And if your home is struggling to stay cool, your attic could actually be the culprit. Poor insulation or no insulation in your attic can account for up to 40% of the heat gain in your home over the summer. That puts a load on your air conditioner. It can leave you sweating. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing, the team in the red van, they've got you covered. This summer, you can bundle energy-saving attic insulation with a new roof and save 10%. That's better comfort, improved energy efficiency, and less strain on your cooling system. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Valentine Roofing for roofing, attic insulation, and complete home protection because every project comes with the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and that extra mile service. Plus, with no money down on your project, you don't pay until your project is complete. Call 206 Roofing to save 10% when you bundle a new roof and attic insulation. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at LifePointLaw.com. That's LifePointLaw.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks in their preseason home opener, Saturday, August 15th.
To enter, open the KIRO News Radio app or visit mynorthwest.com/win for details.
You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances.
Enter daily from July 28th through August 3rd.
Full details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
That's mynorthwest.com/win.
All right, welcome back to the show. We just finished listening to a press conference, Mayor Katie Wilson and Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. Spike, in your opinion, after listening to that press conference that we just heard, do you think that Katie Wilson has cleared up what feels like, and this is my opinion, feels like there's a leadership void? Do you think that she has taken the mantle and is now leading in the way that you kind of need it? You absolutely need a leader during these troubling times. It's great to have a strong SPD, but you do need somebody to kind of be the face of, hey, everything is under my umbrella and everything's going to run smoothly because you can trust my leadership. Do you feel that from Katie Wilson?
Not even remotely. Not even
close.
And that was just a fire hose of new information from mostly Chief Barnes, not so much from Mayor Wilson.
Yeah.
Mayor Wilson gave us what mostly, not to my knowledge. I'm not aware that my department or my office directed SPD to hold release of information. I mean, that was what asked twice.
She was just playing defense. It felt like she was just playing defense.
So no, I have no more sense of calm or reassurance from the mayor's office after that last press.
Let me pose this question to you and also this question of the day to the audience, because I'd like to get more into this in depth at 1:30. Seattle disbanded their gang unit back in 2020. And they shifted over to they said they were shifting it over to the Gang Violence Reduction Unit, the GVRU.
Gun Violence
Reduction Unit, the GVRU. Yeah. The problem with that, and here's my question for the audience. Should Seattle reinstate its Gang Violence Unit? That's a pretty simple question. Should they reinstate the Gang Violence Unit, and do you think it's going to help? Because I feel like still, throughout this entire thing, they've now just said that they believe this is gang violence. They were very hesitant to call it that. You might remember in the initial Barnes press conference that he was there for, because he wasn't there for the first one. He was out of town. The first one that he was there for, he was asked about it. He said, I don't know if it's gangs. I don't know if it's
groups of people
or what it is. Yeah. But everybody watching kind of recognizes what it was. And when you look at some of the weapons, these feel like something that's classically would fit into the gang violence. And for Seattle to get rid of that, the problem is, like, we're getting a bunch of text messages about this, and people saying, like, well, they just shifted it over to the Gun Violence Reduction Unit. The problem is that when they shifted over to Gun Violence Reduction Unit, it doesn't actively track gang data. They used to do that. That used to be what a gang unit does. They actively track gang data. They know who the players are. They know which gangs are active, which ones are, trying to climb the ladder, which ones are trying to get more power, who's marking territory and where. And they know the specifics about who has warrants out for their arrest. They know all these things. They're intimately involved. Go watch The Wired. You get some sense of what it looks like.
Well, there's other communities, as you mentioned, in our region that have dedicated gang units.
Yeah, even if Bellevue has one, and they have probably far fewer gangs than Seattle can expect.
And the fact that they now know today that one of the deceased from the gang-related mass shooting at Seattle Center, the 19-year-old was gang-related. It was tied to this. It was a targeted event. They know that because of research they've done or investigating they've done into gang activity and who's dealing with who's involved with who. And the fact that it's now under the umbrella of gun violence prevention, okay, that's great, but wouldn't it be more helpful if those steps, those investigative steps, were already concluded, were already in the books? They knew who they were dealing with and what contact, all those things.
Yes, because now we have a 15-year-old who's been arrested. Did you see some of the stuff about how they charge these juveniles and how many times that they can actually have gun-related crimes and with how many different weapons before they actually might serve some real time? Did you see this?
Yeah, I shared this morning and I got a chance to take a look at it. It's talking about the leniency in the juvenile justice system. It's
shocking.
And I can understand the thought process behind not wanting to make life-altering decisions about youth violence, given the fact that it may be there are so many circumstances that how did this kid get to this moment? But there's a point where how many strikes, how many chances? Here's
what they get. This was noted by Casey McNerthy from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. He says it takes 5 convictions before juveniles are sent to rehabilitation, and that the 15-year-old has not had any previous cases referred to the attorney's office. He said for those 15 and younger, it's up to a judge whether or not to move the case to an adult court. I mean, that's a lot of leniency. Gary Horker from KIRO 7, he also talked about this. Juveniles can be arrested for gun possession 5 times with 5 different guns for 5 different gun-related crimes before a judge even has the legal option to send them to detention for longer than 30 days. That's incredibly lenient. Now, in this case, it doesn't sound like this kid had any priors, but now is involved in a shooting that resulted in multiple deaths. So does this case end up going to an adult court? He's 15 years old. I'm going to read to you what police described the scene, and then I'm going to tell you whether or not I'm going to ask you, Spike, whether or not you think this should be moved to an adult court or be tried as a juvenile. Are you okay with that?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Some of this description comes from SPD. You can read about this on mynorthwest.com. A police department sergeant was near the northwest corner of the Bida Seattle and heard gunshots coming from the west along with the east-west walkway, and vendor booth court documents stated. He and other officers responded to the location. They saw the 15-year-old standing in the north walkway, allegedly holding a handgun and firing into the crowd. The teen was taken into custody, and officers seized the handgun. This is now the gun that we know as the ghost gun. Officers reportedly found 3 people wounded by gunfire in the direction that the teenager was firing. One was the 2-year-old child who had been with his mother, in addition to 2 other victims who were found. A 4th victim died at the scene. I mean, this could have been even way more tragic than it was. So do you try this kid as an adult? He did a very adult thing.
Yeah, I mean, on first blush, of course, someone with an automatic weapon, an illegal automatic weapon, firing into a crowd at a public event should be tried as an adult. Kids grow up faster than they ever did in the past, and it's time to start treating them like that with regard to criminal activity.
Yeah.
This doesn't, the first offense is plenty when using an illegal automatic weapon to fire into a crowd of innocent people.
And people died. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We're going to break more of this down just a little bit. Stick around. Be right back.
I heard a lot of gunfire.
It really sounded like a firework at first.
A community searching for answers.
Breaking news, a mass shooting at Seattle Center.
500 plus people just like stampeding our way.
It was horrible. The kids right there screaming, trying to get their dad.
The station you trust when it matters most.
Detectives are working to track down everyone involved.
KIRO Newsradio. 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Washington drivers share the road with thousands of semi-trucks, but new reporting and federal investigations have unveiled that as many as 1 in 5 of those trucks are operated by chameleon carriers, trucking companies that rack up crashes and safety violations only to close and reopen under a new name with a clean record. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, time may be running out to recover. Call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit davislawgroupseattle.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
After the mild winter we just had, forecasters are predicting above average temperatures this summer across western Washington. If your home is struggling to stay cool, your attic could be the culprit. Jake Skorheim here. Poor insulation or no insulation in your attic can account for up to 40% of the heat gain in your home over the summer. That puts a load on your air conditioner and it can leave you sweating. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing has you covered. This summer, bundle energy-saving attic insulation with a new roof and save 10%. That's better comfort, improved energy efficiency, and less strain on your cooling system. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Valentine Roofing for roofing, attic insulation, and complete home protection because every project comes with the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. Plus, with no money down on your project, you don't pay until your project is complete. Call 206 Roofing to save 10% when you bundle a new roof and attic insulation. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
It's the best time of the year at Staples, with back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., the late Senator Lindsey Graham is being remembered as a titan of the Senate at his funeral. President Trump delivering remarks calling Graham a fierce ally.
He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out.
Graham died earlier this month at the age of 71. Authorities in Seattle say a second suspect in Sunday's shooting at a food festival is one of the 3 people who died. Another suspect, a 15-year-old, is in custody. Police say they believe the incident may have been gang-related and there could be other suspects involved. Cleanup continues in hard-hit Wisconsin after powerful tornadoes ripped through the town of Menasha in Winnebago County yesterday. Those same storms targeting the Northeast today and could bring torrential rain and flash flooding to areas including New York City and New Jersey. This is ABC News. eBay has agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement after some eBay employees were found to have harassed and stalked a Massachusetts couple. 7 eBay employees had already pleaded guilty to criminal charges. Some served prison time, though no executives were charged.
eBay and some of the company's former executives have agreed to pay out $56 million to Ina and David Steiner. It comes almost 7 years after several eBay employees attempted to track the couple's movements, even sending them threatening packages like a funeral wreath and a box of spiders. It all goes back to critical things the Steiners had written about the company in their self-published newsletter, E-Commerce Bites. In a statement, eBay says the incident was wrong, reprehensible, and should never have happened. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Singer Ariana Grande is suing dozens of hackers for allegedly leaking her previously unreleased music and personal information on the dark web for profit. Grande wants the identity of the hackers revealed. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes shares what they've learned about guns recovered at Sunday's shooting at the Bite. That story straight ahead. But first, a check on your traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. In Federal Way, we're still on scene of a fatality investigation. North 5 at Wild Waves. 2 right lanes are blocked, and there's a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup starting at 54th and Fife. Tacoma to Federal Way is almost taking an hour, a 45-minute delay. Here in Seattle, a crash northbound on the 1st Avenue South Bridge continues to block 2 right lanes. South 5, you're heavy from 85th in the downtown. And up in Skagit County near Anacortes, a collision is shut down both directions of State Route 20 between Sharps Corner and Gibraltar Road. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. Seattle police recovered 3 guns at the scene of Sunday night's deadly gang-related shooting at the Bite of Seattle. Police Chief Sean Barnes says the 15-year-old who was arrested that night had a 9mm ghost gun with a 33-round magazine.
A ghost gun is an untraceable weapon that lacks a serial number. They are typically homemade, and they are illegal.
While vendors were cleaning up on Monday, a Glock 45 with a fully automatic switch and a 40-round magazine was found. A third gun, a 9mm, was recovered, but it appears it was not used. 3 people died and at least 4 people were hurt, including a 2-year-old boy. One of those killed was one of the suspected shooters. At least one suspect is still on the run. The head of Seattle's police union is criticizing Mayor Katie Wilson's office for mishandling the aftermath of Sunday's mass shooting. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Police Officer Guild President Kent Liu tells Seattle Red SPD was ready to go with information moments after Sunday's mass shooting.
For being honest, when the mayor's office stepped into it, I think that's when kind of this mishandling happened.
Mayor Wilson denies she delayed Sunday night's news conference so Governor Bob Ferguson and Representative Pramila Jayapal could appear, even though Seattle police said the briefing was postponed because other dignitaries wanted to be there. City leaders also waited nearly 5 hours after the shooting to release information to the public, but did not disclose at least one suspected gunman remained at large. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Police now say the shooting was gang-related and that the 19-year-old killed in the shooting and a 15-year-old arrested at the scene were gang associates. Former Washington Governor Jay Inslee is backing the campaign opposing Initiative 645, the measure to repeal Washington's income tax. Inslee says the initiative would hurt funding for services, including education, health care, and child care. Supporters of the measure, led by hedge fund manager Brian Haywood, say it would reduce taxes. Initiative 645 is expected to appear on the November statewide ballot after qualifying for a vote. Boaters heading to Lake Tapps will need to find a new place to launch, according to a Facebook post from the Bonnie Lake Police Department. The city officially closed the Allen York Park boat launch to the south. Officials say the water levels at the lake dropped too low for safe recreational use. The city will open the launch as soon as conditions improve. If you still want to get on the water, the launch at North Lake Tapps Park on the other side of the lake is still open. Let's check out that forecast. Mostly sunny today and 74 this afternoon. Morning clouds, afternoon sun through the rest of the week with a gradual warming trend. Friday, we're around 83. Mostly sunny and 73 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. First hour was a little different because we were taking a live press conference from the mayor of Seattle and Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. We're just updating the public on all the aftermath and the new information that they have after that Bite of Seattle mass gang violence shooting, which is what it was, which is what they're now saying, which is what everybody at the time said, boy, this sure looks like gang violence. And at the time they said, well, it's group violence. We're not calling it gang violence because we don't know.
And new information came in to the investigation that gave them the confidence to say this is a gang-related mass shooting. It's safe and not unwarranted to identify it as that moving forward.
The problem is that what are they going to do with that information now? Seattle doesn't have a gang unit anymore. They disbanded that in 2020. They now have a gun violence reduction unit, which is different because it doesn't track gang data the same way. We talked a little bit about this last hour, but I was reading this article. I went and found an article from 2016 where King 5 was talking with one of the detectives in Seattle PD's gang violence unit. And it is fascinating. They walk through. It's just like an episode of The Wire. They walk you through his daily, what they do, how you prevent gang violence from happening, how they will literally go and read at local like playgrounds and underpasses and all these different things. They'll look for new graffiti because oftentimes
that's boundary markings.
Yeah, they're marking
challenges and borders going up.
And so when they see that new graffiti is going up in a lot of places, they will know that a gang is making a move to claim more territory, and then their spidey senses will be on alert, and they'll say, hey, we need to watch out for this specific gang, which they're tracking data on, which they're then able to intercede and say, like, hey, let's take the resources that we have in this gang violence unit and let's focus on this specific gang because they're kind of making some noise right now. And then they're able to prevent things from happening. They'll go to Golden Guards, they'll go wherever they're going to go looking for specific people who have warrants out. All that's not happening anymore because they don't track gangs anymore. Because in 2020, they decided not to track gangs anymore. Now, you can figure out yourself why they might have done that. But I think it's a mistake, and obviously it would be nice. We see an event like this that just happened this weekend. Sounds like Seattle might want to rethink that policy.
Well, that gang element of this mass shooting at Seattle Center on Sunday was only a tip of the iceberg of new information delivered by Chief Barnes at today's press conference. Now, this was, you're right, the fourth since the shooting. And it has been a catch-up mode, and on their heels, more defensive than informative from the mayor's office's perspective.
Yeah, they're on their back foot for sure.
Chief Barnes came into this, from being out of town. Came in his assistant chief. Is it Tyrone Davis?
Tyrone Davis. Yeah.
And he was as helpful as could be with as much information as he could be, given the parameters of when he was allowed by the mayor's office to speak.
Well, that's the interesting thing. We have not. That's a great setup. We just heard this clip. I want to replay this for you guys because this is actually really interesting. Again, we're in the first story of our 1 o'clock rundown. We have other stuff that we'll get to in just a second. That's not related to
this story. Has caught the attention of the nation.
This is national news. I mean, it was the lead on the Today Show. It was the aftermath of this Seattle Center shooting. Listen to this. This is Kent Liu, who is he's come on the show many times, Seattle Police Officers Guild president. He was telling Jason Rantz on Seattle Red that SPD was ready to go. And I believe this is just literally like minutes after the shooting happened, when they felt like the area was secure enough and they were ready to start sharing information with the public so that people knew, were they safe to leave some of the restaurants where they were hiding, whatever it was. And then the mayor's office stepped in.
For being honest, when the mayor's office stepped into it, I think that that's when kind of this mishandling happened. The delay in press conference, I do think there's more to the story about waiting for dignitaries.
So the question about dignitaries is an interesting one to me. I was reading the Seattle Times article earlier this morning. This is before the press conference that we just listened to a few minutes ago, where Wilson ended up getting kind of testy with a couple of reporters asking about this very thing. In the Seattle Times piece, they talk about how Pramila Jayapal, who was not on the scene, arrived at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Katie Wilson, who
was in West Seattle, she clarified that yesterday.
She was in West Seattle.
Had to make their way to the center for the 11 o'clock
Katie
Sunday
Wilson,
night.
obviously, she's the mayor of Seattle. I assume she lives nearby, so it makes sense to me that she would be nearby. But then you have this X factor of Bob Ferguson, Governor Bob Ferguson, who, if you didn't watch the press conference, you would barely know that he was there. He's kind of a non-entity when he's like in a group. And I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean to him, but when you watch,
what he added to that press conference
was nothing.
It was condolences and sympathies and respect, as it should be.
20-something minute
His
press
commitment
conference.
to law enforcement.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, all that could have been one of those. This meeting could have been an email. That's what I got from Governor Ferguson's participation in Sunday night's press gathering.
Here's my question to you, and a point. My point and a question. I think it's appropriate that the governor of the state would want to be involved in this very public. He should be involved.
Should be there, yeah.
However, he doesn't need to be there to help out.
Well, not to help out.
And he doesn't need to be there for the information to start flowing out to the public.
Yes,
and that's my question.
Well, that's two very different things, and I'm with you on both sides. And here's my point on this: the governor, if the governor's not there, if the representative's not there, someone will have a problem with that. That's just the nature of politics.
Yes,
but with regard to getting information, holding information so that people could be there is completely unnecessary and detrimental to informing the community of the situation at hand.
The timeline to me still, I think, needs to be clarified, because when the SPD comes out and tells the reporters, and we have all the audio and we don't need to keep rehashing it, I can just tell you real fast because it takes a while to play it. When SPD comes out and tells a scrum of reporters who are literally sitting there frothing to get information that they can then send out to the viewers.
That's the duty of the press, is to inform the community.
When they're sitting there going like, guys, it's been almost 5 hours at this point, and SPD's coming out continually saying, we're waiting, we're holding. What are we holding for? We're holding for dignitaries. We're holding for dignitaries. That's a very specific thing to say. It's different than what Katie Wilson said, which was, they were actually clearing the grounds to make sure everything was safe before they allowed us to do a press conference, and then we decided it was an appropriate time to do the press conference. This is 5 hours after.
Yeah.
So that's a long time.
Yep.
My question is, where was Bob Ferguson when this whole thing started? I assume because he doesn't live in Seattle, he's in his capacity as governor, I assume he would be in Olympia.
Probably so.
Which is what the Seattle Times said. The Seattle Times said that he was in Olympia.
Had to make his way to Seattle. Okay.
Made his way to Seattle. So my question is that what we were waiting for? Were we waiting for Bob Ferguson to make his way up to Seattle, which is an hour and 5-minute drive in Seattle in Sunday night conditions?
If that is indeed the case, I have no problem with that. And let me clarify.
I have a problem with them waiting to give information.
That was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
With regard to Representative Jayapal and Executive Gurmai,
he wasn't there.
He was at the press conference, I believe, yesterday. Whoever it may be.
Yesterday, the night of. That's my question.
Ferguson and the Mayor Wilson and the assistant chief and the representative.
Listen, pile them in if you want to. Show that everybody supports. That's fine.
And if Katie Wilson says, look, we had to get clearance that it was a safe place to be in Seattle Center to do this press conference, then don't do. I've said this numerous times. Don't do it at Seattle Center.
Yeah.
Have it on the steps of City Hall. Have it anywhere. The fact that you wanted to do it at Seattle Center meant that it was performative.
She doesn't. She said it herself. She doesn't need to be there. So just let the police do their job.
Right. The fact that they felt they had to have this event at Seattle Center seems to me
I don't understand.
More horrible decision making.
My suspicion is, and I don't know if this is the case. My suspicion is, listen, maybe he was in town. And maybe Seattle Times got it wrong, but the Seattle Times seemed to suggest that Ferguson was in Olympia when he got news that this had happened, and then he drove up
They got helicopters,
for the cameras.
right? They got helicopters.
No, he apparently drove up.
So he drove up, okay.
So I don't know if that's what they were waiting for, but the 5 hours, I feel, that's quite offensive to the local community who needed that information. And I think the governor's office, he has since said, and Jayapal both said, well, it wasn't us that they were waiting for. And yet, I don't understand how he could not have been involved in the wait time if he was in Olympia when he was informed about this.
I think that lends itself to Mayor Wilson's claim. They're waiting till it was an all-clear, safe space was acknowledged by Seattle Police Department.
I think
it wasn't us. When they say it wasn't us they were waiting for, I'm not sure if they're trying to thread a needle here by saying, look, we didn't go to 11 because it wasn't a safe situation till 11.
Here's
maybe.
The skeptical version, the cynical part of me. Yeah. What I think probably happened is SPD were ready to go with information.
Yeah, clearly.
Wilson, who has been struggling lately as mayor and wants to present a commanding leadership position, she wanted to be there to make sure that she was ready to give the information. So she's the one who started speaking first. She gave literally no information.
Right.
She said condolences, and then she handed it off to Tyrone Davis. So she wanted to be there. Pramila Jayapal, I don't know why she's there, but whatever. She's there. She lives nearby. She's an elected official. Yeah. I guess I understand it. I don't know why they would need to wait for her. Governor Ferguson, who's also in a situation right now where he's been getting a lot of press that isn't necessarily the best press for him. He's got a desire to be there. I understand. It's a big event. It's your biggest city. I know he wants to make sure that everybody understands that he's got the full support of the governor's office. I don't know why they all have to be on camera for the initial public information.
No, agreed. They don't need to.
That doesn't make sense to me. Something doesn't add up.
Yeah, that could have been the third announcement. That should have been the third announcement made to the city. And when you want to do something in a public space with all the dignitaries, do it.
It could have been the next day.
Yeah,
nobody cares in the moment. There's literally people hiding in restaurants.
Exactly. It should have been hours after the public was made aware of the situation. Yeah, absolutely.
So why they're waiting for 5 hours doesn't make any sense. All right. Should we get to some other stuff?
Real quick before we move on, though. Chief Barnes let us know there's suspects. Not just a single suspect, possibly, that Seattle Police Department is looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking for tips. They've got over 80 tips so far. There was a third weapon involved in this shooting that was recovered during the cleanup post-melee of the vendors at Seattle Center.
Yep.
The gunshot victim who checked themselves into the hospital at the University of Washington.
Police haven't spoke with them yet.
And the HIPAA privacy laws prohibit the hospital from sharing personal information about this individual. Our own James Lynch asked the chief, isn't the hospital required to alert the Seattle Police Department when there is a gunshot victim showing up in an emergency room? And that wasn't really made clear by the chief, just saying that our detectives didn't get there in time.
For whatever reason,
can't get information.
That exchange of information didn't happen as it should have.
So while we got an avalanche of new information, it raised more questions than it gave us answers to.
Yeah. And we will continue covering the story until they do the next press conference. It is interesting because they did have that 5-hour delay, and now it feels like they're hitting extra hard to have as many press conferences as they can.
Yeah.
Is it working? You would be the judge of that, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some other stuff. Did you see this earthquake in Japan?
Yeah, and the fact that yesterday at about this time we highlighted the fact that the San Andreas Fault, through geological reporting and surveying and monitoring, has gone strangely dormant.
Real quiet.
We brought this to you yesterday. And then on the heels of that, you hear of was it 7.2, the latest Richter scale evaluation?
I think it's been downgraded to a 6.8.
Okay.
But it hit Japan in the southern
Kumamoto
prefecture.
Yeah.
And a shopping mall collapsed, killing some people and trapping others.
Right, they're still searching for survivors in the rubble of a collapsed mall in Japan.
Just terrifying.
Well, yesterday when you brought up the story about the San Andreas Fault, I said, look, this is all interconnected. The Ring of Fire, which is what they refer to as the fault lines on both sides of the Pacific Ocean, they're all related. So when we hear this dormancy of the San Andreas and then this massive earthquake that took lives and destroyed properties in southern Japan, it's like, okay, now that San Andreas story makes a little more sense, and let's, can you do anything? Should you do anything? Will we be able to? No, of course not.
You can't lose sleep over it. You just got to
be prepared to do whatever, make the best of whatever situation you may find yourself in should this happen.
Stay safe as you can.
But yeah, I saw that story, man.
It was ironic that right after we were talking about it, then
they're all interconnected.
You wake up to this news that a big earthquake has happened.
Hundreds of thousands forced to evacuate in this. That's how That's how impactful this quake was in Japan.
What's crazy is all the footage that you can watch now. Like back in the day when we were growing up, like what was the earthquake in the 1990s? Locally here, it was I'm struggling to remember the name of it. Whatever it was.
Seattle Center, or excuse me, the Pioneer Square, the front fell off the Phoenix.
There was whatever it was.
Yeah.
I remember that as a kid, and I remember where I was when that earthquake happened, because it was like, I was in my room and the whole house started shaking, and that was the first earthquake that I could really remember feeling. And now, but there's, back then there wasn't cameras everywhere. People weren't filming everything at all times. And now if you want to, you could go online and you can go and see there's 1 million people making 1 million videos the moment an earthquake happens. Like I remember one time there was another earthquake. Dave Ross, we have audio that we used to play this. Dave Ross was on the air when Seattle had an earthquake at one point, and they're sitting in the studio he's like, "Hey, is that an earthquake?" And you can hear it in his voice, just the shock and the surprise. But
I remember our house on Queen Anne rolling, literally rolling.
Jeez.
And I worked the morning shift, and I'd gotten home. It was late morning, early afternoon, and just running outside of the house as the floors literally rose a foot and dropped a foot as I ran from the living room out to the backyard.
Was there any permanent damage to the house?
No. And it's funny because we had remodeled. This was a Queen Anne home, Melissa and I's first home. And it was 1906 build. And when we refurbished the basement to make a 2-bedroom apartment down there for my mother-in-law, my father-in-law came to the realization that when we took the walling down, this Latin plaster walling, shiplap plaster, that the house was not anchored to the foundation. It was just sitting on the concrete foundation built in 1906. He then seismically reinforced the house for us. And it's the only reason that house didn't roll off its foundation. It was definitely the Nisqually quake, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it, Nisqually. That sounds right.
Yeah, that was the only thing. His foresight, his engineering know-how. The guy was a lifetime Boeing guy, my father-in-law, R.L. Butler. That's the only reason our house stayed on its foundation.
Whoa.
So, but to your point now, everybody's a photographer. There's a newsman in every pocket. And we see these videos from recounting all these, part of the investigation into the Seattle Center gang-related mass shooting.
Yeah.
Is asking for witnesses, asking for videos.
I was watching videos of people who are going around doing food reviews.
Right.
They're all like little, like mini influencers doing food reviews. Yeah. And as they're talking, there's literally bullets behind them.
You hear the pop, 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 and you see the crowds rushing by. I've seen the same number of videos from vendors who were there filming their experiences. And
it's just a crazy new world we live in. All right, and very quickly last year, I saw this, and this was just this felt like such a weird time capsule moment. Savannah Guthrie, she made a plea. This would have been yesterday.
Yeah.
For additional help. She's just making a plea out there for anybody who might have any information still on how to bring her mother home. There's nobody at this point. I don't think there's anybody in the Guthrie family who think that her mother, Nancy, is still alive. Certainly, it doesn't seem like the investigation is treating it that way. They all, it seems to be now about a recovery situation. But just to think about, that was 6 months ago. Like, just how fast time flies, and also how horrible for the Guthrie family. Just a living hell that they have been living in for the last 6 months. They want to say goodbye. They want to bring the mother home. They even, they pretty quickly got to that in the videos. You remember those videos that she was putting out? And
plea videos.
Saying, please help us so that we can celebrate her. That was talk about celebrating her life because now it's probably over. And just to think that this has been 6 months now, it just felt like kind of a weird time capsule.
Well, and the family, Savannah yesterday was like, help us find her, tell us where to look for her. I truly believe it's never too late to do the right thing. Help us bring a close to this situation, bring it to an end. I saw this. It was it's heartbreaking. And I think back to the people of this region who suffered through, I don't know, it was Green River or whatever.
My gosh.
Who never found their loved ones, who never got closure. Even we hear stories of decades after the fact.
Yeah.
How just, when Gary Ridgway was negotiating and turning over evidence and information.
Just using these people as little leveraging points.
Exactly. But and it gave those families, though, that moment of closure they'd sought for decades. And it just, this Guthrie story yesterday put me back to a memory of those families in our region, some of which have still never gotten closure of these things. It's heartbreaking, but at this point, the Guthries are asking someone to risk self-incrimination.
Do you think there's ever going to be a...
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I think if you do the right thing, any lead that the Guthries may receive is a potential incriminating evidence. And I'm sorry to be the one There's no way someone does this.
If after 6 months somebody has not already been driven through guilt or shame or whatever it is to give that information over.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I feel
very sad story. All right. We got a lot more coming up. We're going to get to the question of the day when we come back. Again, the question of the day, I was unaware of this until just today, but Seattle police, they don't have a gang violence unit. They have a gun violence reduction unit. They got rid of their gang unit in 2020. And is now the time for them to reapproach that. You have other cities, Everett, Bellevue, they all have gang-centric, focused detectives either working or specific units to combat gang violence, but SPD does not. And should they reinstitute that unit? I think they should, but we'd love to hear from you guys. 888-973, 5476. We'll get to some of your reactions and responses next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
How sweet it is!
50 seasons of moments. 50 seasons of legends. A once-in-a-lifetime event. Join Mariners past and present at T-Mobile Park August 7th through 9th for 50 Season Celebration Weekend. The festivities begin Friday with a post-game slugfest, the Alumni Home Run Derby featuring Ichiro and other former Mariners sluggers, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Saturday will be a showstopper. 50 Season Celebration Night presented by Daktronics. Arrive early to witness the biggest gathering of franchise icons ever assembled as the 50 greatest Mariners from across all 5 decades are revealed.
It just continues.
The weekend wraps up on Sunday with a collectible 50 Seasons pin giveaway thanks to KeyBank. Seats are going fast. Get yours at mariners.com/tickets.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Jonathan here from DUI Heroes, and I'm here today with a teenager who's just about to get her driver's license, and she's got some questions for me about driving, alcohol, and how to not end up in my office.
Is it okay for teens to drink, even if they don't get drunk and drive?
So in this state, the legal drinking age is 21. It's never a good idea for anybody under the age of 21 to be consuming alcohol in any circumstance. But it's even more dangerous if then you make the decision to get behind the wheel. And most people don't know that when it comes to DUIs, everybody thinks the limit is 0.08, but not if you're under 21. If you're under 21, the limit is 0.02, which means you could find yourself at 0.02, 0.03 with a DUI sitting in my office when you're not drunk, but because you drank before you were able to. That was a great question. And if you or any of your friends find yourselves this summer in contact with law enforcement, please give us a call at 1-800-DUI-HERO or online at DUIHeroes.com.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best. But I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
DayandNight.net.
Stay cool this summer with a new AC or heat pump from Day and Night. And with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Get a new AC or heat pump now from Day and Night to stay cool this summer. Plus, with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
DayandNight.net.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. At least one suspect remains on the run after Sunday's gang-related shooting at the Bight of Seattle, as police are also now looking to speak with a potential 8th victim. Chief Sean Barnes pleading with them to come forward.
This person checked himself in with a potential gunshot wound. Due to legal barriers, we're unable to acquire the identity of this person.
Now, Barnes says they recovered 14 shell casings from the scene along with 3 firearms. One of them was a ghost gun with a 33-round extended magazine. It was taken from that 15-year-old suspect. 19-year-old suspect was killed in the shooting along with 2 bystanders, a 56-year-old woman and 44-year-old man. The city is hosting a silent vigil tomorrow night at the International Fountain in Seattle Center. And now to the closing bell report. Stocks rose today even as computer chip makers fell. Dow added 537, S&P 500 up 15 points. Nasdaq did lose 55 but recovered from sharper losses earlier in the trading session. Apple is taking a page out of the car dealership playbook with its new leasing strategy. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
Apple Upgrade is a new program that lets customers lease certain devices for up to 3 years. The company says it will cover iPhones, iPads, Macs, and Apple Watches. Apple is partnering with Klarna on the program, saying lease deals on iPhones will start at $17.99 a month. It comes after Apple announced significant price increases on many of its products, citing an ongoing shortage in computer memory, driven by increased demand from the AI industry. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
New Redfin report finds fewer Canadians are looking south of their border for a home. Seattle-based firm reports Canada-based searches for U.S. homes fell more than 15% in June compared to a year ago. They are down about 37% over the last 2 years. Redfin says economic uncertainty, inflation concerns, and questions about trade are the big factors. Here in Seattle, Canadian home searches were down nearly 16% from 1 year ago. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 1:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Seattle Sports has the update. And let's start down in Federal Way. All lanes just reopened. North 5 at Wild Waves, a scene of our earlier fatality that had a couple right lanes there blocked for about 4 hours. So we've still got about a 4-mile scattered backup starting at 54th and Fife to the scene. Tacoma to Federal Way right now is at 50 minutes, a 40-minute delay, but this is going to quickly recover now. This has caused a bumper-to-bumper backup westbound 18 starting in Military Road. Road, and just to send some drivers over to eastbound 512 through Puyallup, and you're packed at the South Hill curve up to the Valley Freeway. Linwood to Seattle, just over 20 minutes. We're slow from Lake City Way to I-90, North 5, scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and Ship Canal Bridge. And up in Skagit County, Anacortes, a collision has shut down both directions of State Route 20 at Gibraltar Road. And this has been a long-term closure as well. No estimated time when this will reopen. Text the app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
A few more clouds around this afternoon with a few showers also in the South Sound at this hour. Temperatures in the mid-70s today, warming up steadily through the rest of the week. Low 80s by Friday. Right now, we are looking at 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're doing a lot of stuff in the universe today of the aftermath of the Biden Seattle shooting. It's raised a lot of questions. Anytime something like this happens, you're obviously going to look to leadership. You're going to see where there's holes in security. It obviously feels like cameras would be one of them. I would highly recommend the Seattle Center do what every licensing office in the state does, which is to have security cameras to protect the people inside.
I can't go to an AM PM without being recorded.
There weren't 9 cameras right now in our job. For anybody being like, you guys don't have to worry about. We're literally being filmed all the time. In fact, we highly recommend you check it out.
And I know
check us out on YouTube.
I know they're public spaces before you text us. We respect all that.
No, we're saying because it's a public space where you have mass gatherings,
and you want your family to be safe.
All of the arguments that they used to turn the cameras on in the stadium district for World Cup would apply to something like the Biden Seattle. When you're expecting 250,000 people to show up and pay $8 for a corn dog, then you should also make sure that you can secure the area. And if you can't, then you need to let people know that, because something horrible could happen like it did this weekend. The other thing we figured out is that SPD doesn't have a gang violence unit. They don't have a specific gang unit where they track gangs, where they track which gangs are active or which gangs might be trying to go back and forth and, have a conflict with somebody else. They used to do that up until 2020, and then they disbanded that group and they folded that into the gun violence reduction unit. But again, they don't specifically track gang data in the same way. And would that have helped in a situation like this, now that they're saying that this was gang violence? I tend to think that it would. But that was a question that we put to you guys for the question of the day. Do we need to bring back Seattle's gang violence unit? You guys have a lot of responses on this.
Let me make one really quick point of clarity really quick before I start. Bellevue Police Department does not have a dedicated gang unit.
They have a detective.
It's been rolled into the special enforcement team, but they do have, you're right.
Yeah.
Several detectives dedicated.
Whose job it is to focus on
monitor gangs. Exactly, yeah.
Everett has a gang violence unit. Tacoma,
because we're talking about labeling, because folks have been in this the interaction with the audience, which we're looking forward to getting to.
Yeah,
but Seattle detectives don't have detectives, whether they have a gang unit or not. They don't even have detectives dedicated specifically to gang activity, which Bellevue and Everett do.
The point is being aware of and tracking specific gangs so that you can be proactive in preventing just such an event.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so
let's get some audience reaction. Go for it.
Brian Olympia says, sure, reinstate it. Now, how are you going to pay for it?
Great question. They already get a ton of money. That's my answer. Do you know how much Seattle's police budget is per year? Spike, I'm not going to put you on the spot. You don't know this?
No.
It's almost $500 million. Yeah. That's a lot of money. I bet you could carve out 12 dedicated officers or new hires even. Governor Ferguson, when he was asked, the only thing he said at the press conference Sunday night, when he was asked about this, he said, what are you going to do to support making sure that you have enough law enforcement for just such a situation? And he starts going into something about how he got federal grant money, $100 million allocated for new hires into the state. So obviously the money's available. They just need to hire the people to do it.
And if you prioritize the resources you already have,
yes,
to maybe eliminate gang violence like this, something like Sunday night may have been preventable or could be preventable in the future.
Yeah. So when you're, their budget in 2023, and I have no problem. I am a full-on supporter of police budgets. I want as many cops as possible in a city. I like cops. I like living in cities where there's a lot of police. Yeah. I like seeing police cars driving around. It makes me feel comfortable. I like it. There are in 2023, SPD's appropriations were $392 million. 2026 is $462 million and change. So they've grown a lot. They clearly are not hurting for funding. So I would use the funding that they already have available and make it a priority, Brian. Thank you for the note. Scott in Renton said, Jake, I certainly do not agree with you all of the time, but you are correct here. Why would a major city the size of Seattle not have a gang unit? Great question, Scott. This is almost as ignorant as being against cameras. If we truly have a shortage of officers, how does this make sense? Come on, Katie, step up for something that will make a difference and help protect the people of Seattle. You know, that's another interesting thing. She was asked about this specifically at this press conference they just had a little bit ago. We took it at the start of the show. She was asked by a reporter, does this change your feelings at all about the CCTV cameras? Because she's been very vocal in her policies about shutting those cameras down. In fact, the day after World Cup ended, she shut those cameers down.
Well, the day after she was at an event on First Hill, I think it was, or Capitol Hill.
Yeah. Where there was a shooting.
Does this change your perspective, Gary Hooker? Or does this change? It wasn't Gary. It was
Chris Daniels.
Chris Daniels. Thank you. Credit where credit is due. And then her team wouldn't let her answer the question. But let's get back to this.
But she said, no, we're still waiting. She goes, this doesn't change my policy, which is we're still waiting on an audit for privacy. And my question would be, at this point, she says we're trying to. What's the audit for privacy meant to do? It's meant to protect people, right?
Yeah.
That's the claim. You now have an incident where people have just been gunned down. Don't those people also need protection?
If I had to choose between protecting my life or my identity, I think I'd choose life.
Yeah, I agree. Can you not hear anything? There we go. Okay, let's get to another one here. Go for it.
My mic. I'm not hearing my microphone. Are you hearing my microphone?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. It's my headphones. Great.
You sound better than you've ever sounded.
Anybody? Thank you, Judge. Mark in Port Townsend. Anybody getting a count on how many times this ineffective mayor says gun violence? She said gang violence one time. The inanimate gun did not kill anyone here. Once again, the mayor is deflecting from the real problems with violence in the city and, for that matter, in our state. Wake up, Mayor Wilson and Chief Barnes, and stop virtue signaling on gun violence and take accountability. I doubt you will. Mark in Port Townsend.
You know, I noticed that as well when she was given that, response in the press conference. She talks about, like, in America, we have a big gun violence problem and all these things. She does need to be talking about gang violence. Mark is completely right. I mean, the guns here specifically that were used, highly illegal. There's already laws protecting against getting those types of guns. And the only suspect that was arrested, a 15-year-old, can't legally get any of the weapons that he had on him or the weapon he had on him.
The weapon wasn't, no one could get the weapon he had legally. It was an illegally manufactured ghost gun.
So it's not a gun rule or a law right there that's prevented, that they need an extra law in the books. They need to stop gangs from going out and shooting people. And very interesting stuff. All right, let's see here. Cliff in Woodinville said, what gang did the 19-year-old belong to? What about the 15-year-old in custody? Where do they run? What gangs do they have beef with? This is info that can help narrow down the guy on the run. Why are they withholding this info? It's very good very good questions, Cliff. I imagine that by now, hopefully, a day and a half into this, they must have some of this information, and they're just not sharing it with the public.
Oftentimes not sharing information is because it would affect an ongoing investigation, like giving somebody a heads up that that's who they're looking for. I'm sure they've got their valid reasons for what they're sharing and not sharing. We've been talking all last 2 days about when to share information and what's required and what's effective to help the community stay safe and informed.
Yep.
Sometimes to do the job, you got to play your cards close to the vest.
Ruth and Shoreline, sick of these shootings being called gun violence. Most of the shootings here in Seattle are gang related. We definitely need a gang violence department in the Seattle Police Department. I mean, I feel like that's the predominant feeling here is people want a gang violence unit again.
206 says, why aren't the shooter's parents being held accountable? We don't know that that's not the case moving forward. It will be the case. We don't know.
Seattle police don't even know who the shooters are. So let's get to the shooters first, then we can talk about the parents.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
I heard a lot of gunfire.
It really sounded like a firework at first.
A community searching for answers.
Breaking news, a mass shooting at Seattle Center.
500 plus people just stampeding our way.
It was horrible. The kids right there screaming, trying to get their dad.
The station you trust when it matters most.
Detectives are working to track down everyone involved.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Don't wait. Insulate. Last year, American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $2 million in insulation rebates from PSE, more than any provider in the state. If your home was built before 1990, you're eligible for recouping up to 95% of insulation replacement costs. Insulate with American Crawl Space and keep your home warm during the winter and cool during the summer.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either, because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself and Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event going on right now through Sunday, August 2nd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO News Radio is your chance to win 2 tickets to see Santana and the Doobie Brothers White River Amphitheater August 6th. Head to mynorthwest.com/win to enter and see contest rules. That's mynorthwest.com/win for your chance to win.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com. Call the comfort people. homecomfortalliance.com.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks in their preseason home opener, Saturday, August 15th.
To enter, open the KIRO News Radio app or visit mynorthwest.com/win for details.
You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances.
Enter daily from July 28th through August 3rd.
Full details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
That's mynorthwest.com/win.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's feeding time, which means we get to look at the socials, find out what all of our social media feeds are shoving down our throats. Spike.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we start with you? You got a grin on your face. I think you got a good story for us.
I owe you a debt of gratitude.
Really?
Because when we started doing this a week or so ago, a little more, almost 2 weeks ago, I noticed that my feeds have been populated with just, rage bait's a safe thing to say.
Okay.
Political cognitive dissonance, my point of view being reinforced. Because that's what I was spending my time watching. So that's what the algorithms send me.
You have to train your algorithm.
You do. And I said, how come you have such a wonderful, calming? So I started searching for and just watching these videos, and now my feed is being populated.
So you're curating it.
I am curating it, and
Good
it is
for you.
And Laura's going to play something for you guys that I found, and I'll tell you more about it after we play it.
Is this a video we're going to watch together?
Can we play? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, let's watch this video together. If you guys are not already enjoying us on YouTube, you should be. Shame on you.
This is a musician who plays for animals.
Nice. Is that a wolf?
You can hear the wolf. This guy's playing a song for a wolf. When he gets to the woo part of his song, the wolf joins in and harmonizes with him.
Oh, man.
Right?
What's crazy about it is it's one is very cool shot. It's like you can see the wolf. Is this at a habitat or something?
Yeah, it's at a wolf rescue habitat. The guy's name is Plume Music, Plume Music. I've watched videos of him singing with elephants who join in, horses. Horses. He's playing wild horses. But they don't sing along. He's playing Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones on acoustic guitar in a field.
Yeah.
And these horses come up and start nuzzling him and rubbing their heads on his shoulders while he's playing.
Why do you think that is? It's a universal language music, they say.
There's a tonal quality. I imagine with this wolf, he heard something in this guy's, when the guy started the woo part of his vocals, the wolf recognized something and joined in. It connected those two creatures in our planet, and I'm looking at him singing to a rhinoceros who's just captivated. It's.
I'd be nervous around a rhinoceros.
Well, it's behind a big fence.
Oh, okay. He's
There's
not
a
riding
big fence.
or anything.
No, he's not. But I learned that I get what I deserve with regard to my feed.
Good for you.
And I can't tell you how much.
Time.
Yes, I can't tell you how much I appreciate. It doesn't all have to be. What makes me mad today? Why am I right and they're wrong? And how come I, and oftentimes I watch these to get, information that I share to help hone my point of view with the audience. But it's detrimental if it's all I get.
But
sometimes
it hurts your soul.
Right. I need to step into a field and sing with a wolf.
You know what's interesting about our phones and social media and stuff? I mean, we have... This snuck up on us. These phones sneak up on you, and you don't even realize you're doing it until you start having almost like an addict response to things.
Not almost.
I remember recently, within the last few months, before I was really aware of what it was doing to me, my kids would come into the room and, I might be responding to an email at work or might be doing whatever I'm doing. The point is my focus was on this stupid little black screen and not this, this beautiful little angel that lives in my house.
For a brief
who's
moment.
Who's not going to be there forever.
Right.
Who's going to grow up. And then I'm getting testy with them because my kids are asking me questions because I'm their dad. And I'm like, hey, I'm sending an email or something, like they're distracting me from this stupid thing that I just want to snap over my knee.
No. Just retool it.
But I want to do it. But they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with feeding time.
It's a tool, man. It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's how we use it.
And if you don't calibrate, it's like avoidant leadership. If you don't tell it what to find for you, it will go and find stuff for you. And it's just going to feed you bad stuff.
That's what it was doing.
It's going to make you feel like a bad person. It's going to take up your time, and then you're just going to feel worse. So we want to feel better. That's a great one. The wolf thing is cool. It's cool how the wolf harmonizes.
Plumes, Plumes. He's all over he's all over YouTube.
That's awesome. All right, here's mine. Can I get? Can you unlock this thing, Laura, so I can jump into this audio? Mine was a lot of mine is nostalgia based.
Okay.
So this was recently at a Savannah Bananas game, who are just brilliant with marketing, brilliant. They hit a ball into the crowd. Somebody caught it in the crowd. Oh, here's my audio. Here we go.
Here, Henry, you throw it. Okay.
What am I hearing?
Okay, so what they did was they recreated the scene from, do you remember the movie Rookie of the Year?
Sure, the kid with the elbow surgery.
The kid with the elbow surgery, Henry Rowan Gardner, played by Thomas Ian something, the actor. But he ends up, his tendons heal a little tight, and he can now throw the ball like 1,000 miles an hour.
Right.
And so he gets to play for the Cubs. They recreated it. He's like in the stand. He's an adult now. But he gets the ball. They recreated the entire scene. And then he goes down on the field, puts on a Savannah Bananas uniform, and he plays.
That's great.
He's nowhere near as good, obviously, because he's like
his elbow
kind of a schlubby old man now. But just the nostalgia was fun. And that's a great movie. I didn't realize that was directed by Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern from...
Really?
Yeah.
From Home Alone?
From Home Alone, but also the voice of Kevin in Wonder Years.
Wonder Years, yeah, you bet.
He directed that movie. And he's in the movie. He's great. All right, we got a lot coming up. When we come back, we're going to talk with a friend of the show, Steve Wiebe, who you guys might remember from the King of Kong documentary. He's got a new collaboration with Lego. Lego contacted him. They're like, hey, we're going to do something amazing. We'd love you to be a part of it. Come to Copenhagen. So Steve's going to be in studio and tell us about it. Stick around.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Thinking about a new roof or exterior upgrade, but worried about the cost? This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We've created our summertime savings event to make it simple and affordable. Save up to $3,000 off your exterior project or get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. And every qualifying GAF roof is backed by our lifetime Golden Pledge warranty. One call gets you started. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., funeral services have concluded for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. The longtime GOP lawmaker from South Carolina died at the age of 71 this month. President Trump delivering the eulogy. He called Graham a member of the family and a critical part of the Republican Party over the years.
He was the first person to make you laugh and one of the last people that you've really ever wanted to fight. These were the traits that made him into one of the great figures in Senate history. Few like him.
In Georgia, a judge sentenced teen Colt Gray to life in prison without the possibility of parole in the deadly Appalachia High School shooting that killed 4 people in 2024. Gray had pleaded not guilty to charges of killing 2 students and 2 teachers at the school outside Atlanta, but Gray changed his plea. Tornado damage being assessed in Wisconsin after yesterday's volatile storms. That same system targeting the Northeast today. This is ABC News. In Mississippi, the investigation continuing into the death of Nolan Wells over the July 4th weekend. The teen last seen with friends on a boat off Horn Island.
Documents obtained by ABC News show that boat set off for Horn Island just before 10 a.m. the morning of July 4th. Wells and his friends arrived at 11:14. For the next 5 hours, the boat was stationary until it left at 4:31 p.m. without Wells, moving at no more than 4 knots. Whatever problem the teens reported was resolved about an hour later at 5:25 when vessel regains normal operation and begins accelerating at 30 to 35 knots.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. If you're thinking of upgrading your Apple device, there's a new way to finance it. iPhones, iPads, Mac computers, and Apple Watches will soon be available to lease under the new Apple Upgrade program. The program will be operated by Klarna as a lease option. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Coming up, new information on the guns used in the shooting at Seattle Center. But first, Nate Connors is at the traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to us by Seattle Sports. Let's start up in Skagit County, Anacortes area, where a collision has shut down both directions of State Route 20 between Sharps Corner and Gibraltar Road. We're about 90 minutes into this. No estimated time to reopen. Unfortunately, there aren't many detours up there. Northbound drivers, you can take Gibraltar Road up toward the golf course and head north on Christensen Road. That'll get you back on the State Route 20 and into Anacortes. In southbound drivers, you can head toward Marine Drive on the west side of the island. Follow that toward Deception Pass. Both of these are narrow 2-lane roadways. Get you into Seattle. South 5 is slow from the Ship Canal Bridge to I-90. North 5 scattered backups from the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal Bridge. About 15 minutes to get you through downtown. South 405 off and on slowing from Factoria into Renton. And down to the county line, we've cleared out nicely from our earlier backups into Federal Way. North 5 near Wild Waves. That earlier fatality has cleared. Tacoma to Federal Way is now down to 15 minutes. Text the app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app, listen to your favorite shows, and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle police recovered 3 guns at the scene of Sunday night's deadly gang-related shooting at the Bight of Seattle. Police Chief Sean Barnes saying the 15-year-old who was arrested that night was carrying one of them, a 9mm ghost gun with a 33-round magazine.
A ghost gun is an untraceable weapon that lacks a serial number. They are typically homemade and they are illegal.
3 people died in the crossfire. At least 4 people were hurt. One of those killed was a 19-year-old suspect. Police say at least 1 more is on the run. Meanwhile, Chief Sean Barnes is addressing his tense back and forth with the reporter during yesterday's press conference.
The heated exchange Monday at City Hall.
No, you listen to me.
But there are reports that you were not in town often.
Their reports are wrong. Do you understand?
Let's go, man. Now reduced to words. South Seattle Emerald reporter Connor Nash on social media pressing Barnes on allegations of excessive travel, spending too much time away from Seattle.
I did not expect things to get as viral as they did.
Barnes responded at a press briefing.
Yeah, I would describe it as a heated exchange, but that's okay. I respect our media. I respect what you do.
He says he was at a conference during Sunday's gang-related mass shooting. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Pierce County deputies arrested a wanted 22-year-old man after a strong-arm robbery. It happened just before 5 yesterday morning. Suspect allegedly pulled a 65-year-old man from his truck on Pacific Avenue South and took off. Deputy Carly Capetto says the detective later spotted the truck near Spanaway Lake Park, chased the driver.
That pursuit went all through the Pacific Avenue South Corridor area into shopping center parking lot and down A Street.
Deputies used a pit maneuver to stop that truck, the man facing robbery and multiple other felony charges. Elise Woodward is trading the sideline for the broadcast booth. The University of Washington announcing the veteran broadcaster as its new radio play-by-play voice for Husky football. Woodward spent 23 seasons as UW's sideline reporter. Is currently the voice of the WNBA's Portland Fire. She replaces Tony Castricone, who will now be calling Tampa Bay Bucks games. To your forecast, we are seeing a few more clouds this afternoon with some light showers in the South Sound at this hour. Tomorrow, drying out and warming up. We'll see low 80s by Friday. Right now, 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. A lot of stuff to get to. This is going to be a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this interview for a little bit. I get a text message. Spike, let me clue you in on this. We have a guest in studio. I'm going to tell you how he's here. I get a text message the other day from a good friend of mine, and he says, have you seen what's happening with Steve Wiebe? And obviously, the audience may be aware of this. Steve Wiebe is the star of one of the top 5 documentaries I've ever seen in my life called
From a
King of Kong.
Yeah, King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters.
It's
Make
phenomenal.
Sure you get it right.
If you haven't seen it, it's a classic now. And
is it 30 plus years old?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's like 20.
Oh, 20
years old.
Okay, 20 years old. Okay.
Steve Wiebe is in studio with us right now. Steve Wiebe, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
So great to have you. So I get a text from a mutual friend of Steve and mine, and he goes, "Did you see what happened? What Steve just went and did?" I said, "What?" And he sends me this. He goes, "Check this out." He sends me this link, and I open up this link, and we're going to play it for you guys here in a second. If you're not watching on YouTube, you're going to want to because it's beautifully acted, by the way, Steve. You had to act in this thing.
Yeah.
But King of Kong, the video game. Mm-hmm. Lego has decided they're making like those like the special Lego boxes where they make they have like
the Masters,
Eiffel
the Masters
Tower
series. Yeah,
and all these different things.
Yeah, specific
they
models.
They have one for a video game set
for Donkey
Kong.
Yeah.
And so, Steve, they're doing a collaboration with you. They asked you to come out there and actually like film a commercial for this video game Lego set that they're building. And let me play it here for you guys, just a little bit of it, and then we can. I'd love to get into talking with Steve about how this came about.
They say the harder the fight, the sweeter the victory. But they don't mention that just one more try that turns the late nights into early mornings. It lingers like it's always whispering. One more screen.
Steve wandering around his house.
The elusive goal that consumed me.
In the closet or something.
Wondering when passion becomes madness.
He's going into the garage. Something behind that door is calling him.
Slowly realizing I love every second of it.
Turns on the bulb in his garage.
And just between us.
Now, Steve, this is you. You're building. This is a Lego set that is designed to look exactly like the classic Donkey Kong stand-up arcade game.
Yep, it's the bezel part of it, not the whole body of it, but
the screen itself and the control panel and the buttons that operate the machine. Because this isn't just a piece of Lego art. This is a functioning.
This is playable
game,
but it's not. But it's not electronic.
No electronics. It's all mechanical. It's pretty impressive.
It's all made by Lego?
Yeah, and so Lego makes this, and so you get a call to come out and be part of this. And for the audience who maybe is unaware of your background, you are a math teacher. You teach high school math, and you also, I don't know if it's still the case, but at one time you were like the best Donkey Kong video game player in the entire world.
That was the true at one time, yeah. Now I've been surpassed, but yeah.
Well, we all have our moments.
But that's
Steve. Don't regret.
That's what the documentary King of Kong was about. And can you tell, just for anybody who may not be aware of how you became the best in the world, just give the audience like a little slice of your life back then and your obsession with this game and what that turned into. Because the characters that you are up against in this documentary are just beyond real. It seems fake. Nobody would believe it if you didn't see that it was true.
Yeah, and when I entered into it at the time, I didn't believe it either. So it happened, well, when in 1981, when Donkey Kong came out, I fell in love with the game. I wasn't as good, of course, back then, but I got into the 100,000s or so. And then I left the game because, life moved on. I started playing sports and doing music. And then I wandered into a fraternity brother's house, and there was another brother of his playing Donkey Kong in the foyer of their fraternity, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this thing. Guy's got his own Donkey Kong, so I went and got my own.
I didn't even know I could get a video game outside of an arcade.
Never thought about where do you get these things, so I went downtown. There's a place called Music Vend in Seattle, if anyone's around the area remembers that place. It's no longer there, but I bought it for $400. I just remember the price of that. And took it home. Then when classes started at UW, I was a sophomore at that time, and my junior year, I brought it into my fraternity, and we had about 10 guys in there playing with me all the time, and I just kept getting higher and higher scores, and I reached this kill screen that I didn't know existed. I thought my game was defective, sold it. Then one day I'm looking up Donkey Kong World Record, and I see Billy Mitchell's score. This was like in 1999, and I saw his score was less than what I was scoring back in my college days. So I said, I got to get myself another machine. So I went on eBay and bought another one. It was a Donkey Kong Junior, and I had to retrofit it to a double Donkey Kong to play both Junior and regular Donkey Kong. And that's where I got the new record, turned it into Twin Galaxies, and all hell broke loose if you watch the documentary.
And in the documentary, it highlights that you came home at one point. Somebody had kind of like surreptitiously gotten into your garage to verify whether or not you had messed with the game board on this specific machine where you set this world record. And then you're invited to go and like, all right, well, prove it in person that you're actually as good as you say you are. And then it kind of starts almost like what's the movie with the horse where Seabiscuit.
Okay.
You remember Seabiscuit is like they're chasing War Admiral around, trying to get War Admiral to race against him. You're going around to all these video game conventions trying to get the current world record holder to have a live Donkey Kong face off with you, and he won't do it because he was scared. And you end up like that's what the documentary is about, is your attempt to get recognized as the best in the world, which you were for a time.
For a time, yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy experience.
It is a phenomenal documentary. It's so well made.
Yeah.
And, because it's not just you're the everyman taking on this. The world of competitive video gaming in the 90s and early 2000s was 80s, 90s, early 2000s was unbelievable. How passionately people took this hobby, this game.
It's not what video gaming has become a legitimate career now that people make,
they're pro teams.
They're considered athletes.
College scholarships to play video games. Yeah.
You get millions. They
were
have
ahead of your
teams
time,
making
buddy.
millions and millions of dollars. But yours was driven at the time just on passion. And
a fistful of quarters.
And a fistful of quarters. And you were able to accomplish this thing. So but what's so interesting about this is that you have now had this connection to this community for 2 decades now because people have been aware of this. So then, how does it happen that Lego decides to do this? Do they just call you up one day? They're like, hey, is this Steve Wiebe? This is Lego.
Yeah, I got an interesting story. It was the company that did the filming was hired by Lego, and they're in Denmark, where Lego's home base is. They're the home of the brick, they call them.
Nice.
Yep, Denmark. So I got an email and about 3 different formats. I got one on Instagram, my school email, and Facebook message. This guy from this company was trying to get in touch with me, and he was saying, we want to have you be in a film for this Donkey Kong set that Lego is going to come out with. And of course, I'm wondering, am I getting punked or not? Or you never know. There's people that can just play tricks on you, and
especially
scam
when
you.
it's like for an email that you don't know from another country.
Exactly.
Who is this?
Yeah. So I looked up the company. They're legit. I called the guy back in that early morning. They're like 9 hours ahead of us. So I called them in the morning. It's their nighttime. And we talked about it. They had what the plan was. When you watch the video, it's kind of like me being haunted by my past, like all these elements of Donkey Kong. I'm kind of searching around the house, and I'm supposed to be retired, just kind of relaxing. And all of a sudden, I get these vibes coming in, and I wander into the garage, and there's that kit. So that was what they pitched to me, and I go, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. So
yeah, Steve, we're just going to need your social security number and bank information. Send you a plane ticket.
Exactly. So it was just kind of like, okay, we got to get approval from Lego, to make sure they can spend the money to get me out there. And it all worked out. I left and was able to film on my spring break at school.
So they flew you to Copenhagen.
Yep, exactly.
So
Nicole and myself.
You and your wife got to go, and had you ever been to Copenhagen at that point?
Never been there. So it was we were looking forward to it. It was cold there. For me, it was cold, but this is a great experience. Bikes everywhere. Like everyone rides a bike. You got to be watchful. If you're walking the wrong place at the wrong time, you could be taken out.
Yeah. They're on the wrong side of the street. Do they drive the same side as we do?
The same side.
Okay, because I've done that where you step off a curb and you're not expecting cars from that direction.
Oh yeah.
Or bikes from that direction.
Yeah. Was it like, so you get there and have you? I mean, you've been in the documentary obviously, but you're playing yourself, and in this version you're kind of playing yourself, but you're kind of a TV version of yourself.
It up.
This.
Yeah.
You're acting.
Yeah.
Had you ever done any acting before?
Well, you know about my career, 4 Christmases.
That's true.
Do I have to go
I forgot. Okay. That's another side part. So the guy who directed, for the audience who doesn't know, the guy who directed King of Kong in his early days in movies has now gone on to become a massive director.
Seth Gordon.
Yeah. And so you're kind of his muse, and every time he makes a movie, whether it's 4 Christmases or whether it's, were you in Pixels, the Adam Sandler movie?
I was in Pixels, correct.
How could you not?
You've also become buddies with Adam Sandler, so you're in all these movies. You're just kind of this
hanging out
guy.
with Adam Sandler. Yeah, it's like, so I was.
Could you call him right now? Would he take your call?
I don't think so.
That's not what. But but that's how powerful you are. That's why Lego didn't contact Billy to make or the company that filmed the promotional video.
They also want somebody you can root for. Yeah, you don't want the bad guy in the movie.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So you got to go and you got to film this, and how long did that take?
It was a 2-day session like on set. They had a house they rented out. They tried to find the most American home that they could. And
I was going to say you could tell
cheaper part of
but I'll tell you. But I'll tell you, if you have an eye for this stuff, you're watching this. The first thing I thought, I was like, that's filmed in Copenhagen. And the reason I knew it is because the type of coffee you were making, the coffee maker that they have.
Yeah.
It's like a percolator that you do on the stove.
Okay.
And I was like,
I was thinking they could have saved a ton of money and just shot it at your house. They could have sent you a film crew. It would have been cheaper.
You probably could have done it on your iPhone, but whatever. You got a trip to Copenhagen.
Out, yeah.
So great.
It was awesome.
So the video then comes out, and I mean, I just watched the Instagram version, and like within 24 hours, you got millions and millions of views. Lego's obviously massive, and people are massive Lego consumers. You have like, people are so serious about it, they don't even call it Legos. People who are really into it, they just call it Lego. Did you know that, Spike?
I did not.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say Legos. That's
That's how you tell the amateurs from the pros.
You
If
do.
you put that S on there.
Yeah.
You just lose all credibility.
Did you get to like, did Lego give you a tour, or like, did you get some insight into how all this works, or were you kind of kept just with the filming crew?
I was just with the filming crew. I wanted to do a tour of the headquarters, but it was like about a 2.5 or 3 hour drive away from Copenhagen.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so I didn't quite work out.
You'll do it the next time they fly you to Copenhagen?
Yeah, next time I do. For the Donkey Kong Jr. kit.
How strange is that, though? I mean, like, you got like millions of people suddenly discovering you in a way that you have this level of fame from the King of Kong, and then now that's been 20 years, you just, you still lead a normal life, but you go to some conventions and things like that too, because people do recognize you. We have a guy in the office here, Spike, you know this, but we have a guy in the office here who, when he found out originally Steve was coming in.
Should we name him? We'd have to name him?
His name's Paul.
Yeah, we know.
He
Paul.
freaked out.
He goes nuts.
He stayed 7 hours after his normal work time just so he could have a chance to, say hi to Steve and get a picture with him.
And Paul does, various work here, production, video production, show production.
Yeah.
He's the Seahawks come, they go. He doesn't care. Movie stars, Broadway stars, they come, they go. He doesn't care. Steve Weeby's in the building. 7 hours.
Huge star.
7 hours.
Huge star. You also, Steve, you wrote a memoir. It's called Wonder and Why, and you've written this, The Space Between Wonder and Why.
Yep, The Space Between Wonder and Why. Yep.
I got to read an early copy of this, but it was before the final version, and it's a great book, and it gives all the details on all these different things that you've had a chance to do in life, and it's like weaving throughout the whole story your King of Kong journey, and there's pictures. Where can people get this book if they're interested in
It's
reading
on
this?
Amazon right now. So, look it up. There's the ebook and the printed version. It's 328 pages. It's a real book.
It's a real book? It's a real
book? It's not
book?
a pamphlet, yeah.
How long did it take you to write this? Writing is hard. I'm aware of this.
It's crazy. I was like possessed. I got started with it, and our friend that we talked about, Mike Thompson, I texted him the first 2 chapters, and I go, should I pursue this? He goes, absolutely, keep going. So then at that point on, I just was like waking up in the morning, had a TV tray right next to my bed, laptop, was writing like constantly for like 2 months, and I was able to churn it out in a couple months' time.
Did you feel like there was almost like a fire to get the story out?
It was a fire. It's like it was inside for 20 years, and there was a lot of stuff that in the King of Kong doesn't show. So in the first part, it's got a 3-part, the typical 3-act script. Part 1 goes into how did Steve Wiebe become who he was? Why did he pursue Donkey Kong? And it doesn't come up in the film. It just comes, I'm all of a sudden good at Donkey Kong. So this explains my background. And then the second part has most of the events of the King of Kong, but from my perspective. And the third part has my Hollywood excursions where I'm going on set. 4 Christmases featured, but there's other parts. I got it was kind of weird. I was in an elevator. Me and my wife were at a backstage to Rascal Flatts concert, and that's when Taylor Swift was just opening up and her first album. And we were in the elevator with Taylor Swift. There's a picture of it in the book there.
Who's
Nicole,
now like the biggest music star on the planet.
Yeah, like at that point.
It's not like though. He's the biggest music star.
He's the biggest music star on the planet.
Can I ask a sidebar question?
Yeah, please.
Anybody who's my era and your era, we share that. Do you have Rush's blessing and permission? Because almost every, if not every chapter in here,
you caught it,
is a Rush quote, a Rush lyric, a Rush title.
Yeah.
There's photos of you, and this is a photo of you hand drawing a picture of Rush.
Are you a fan of Rush?
Rush is okay. They're okay.
But, have you been contacted by anybody from Rush? Are they aware of this? Have you gotten their blessing?
I don't think they're aware of it.
I think they would give you this is clearly a labor of love and a dedication. of your passion for this band.
And at the very opening, I stole a thing from Andy Weir's where he said to John, Ringo, John, and
it says to Alex, Neil, and Getty.
Yeah.
That's I stole right there, man. I'm like, what? Signals. I'm like, oh, what? Bytor in the what chapter could possibly have Bytor in the Snow Dog as a title?
What's really fun, I was
great.
It all fits though. It's great.
It's wonderful.
I was born towards the tail end of this, but I still understand the reference points. If you're a child of the 80s and you grew up in that time period, 70s and 80s, this is it's such a cool book. There's so much nostalgia in it. You get to look back at a time that then built you into the person that ends up becoming the world champion.
Exactly.
And it's a really cool, so on Amazon, people can look this up. The Space Between Wonder and Why. It's a memoir by Steve Wiebe.
Should say as endorsed by Lego and Rush.
And Rush,
on the back. I should really say that on that.
That's the other thing. You're probably picking up, so you're on all the social media stuff. You're probably picking up a ton of people who are seeing your Lego video.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can reach out and see my book too. Yeah,
that must be a wild experience to have millions and millions of people who don't even speak your language just overnight. Who is this guy who's doing a Lego commercial?
Yep,
it's pretty crazy.
And one last thing with the book, there was another company that reached out earlier around the Lego time that wanted to do a series like a
TV series,
Queen's Gambit kind of prestige TV, but we couldn't get the rights with. New Line still owns them because they were
for the King of Kong.
For the King of Kong, so it didn't quite work out. But I could always meet up with them again later. But I decided to take it in my own hands, and I made what's called a cinematic memoir. It's a YouTube series that every chapter I've documented with images, narration. My music is the background.
Oh, fantastic!
And it works out, and I put all of them together. I dropped them twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
There's part one's done. It's an 83-minute full-length film that I put together now, which will be released after all the episodes come out.
Where can people find that? That's on YouTube?
That's on YouTube, and my channel is at Steve Wiebe 722, and it's got the playlist. You'll see it. You can't miss the thumbnails, all the same package deal.
At Steve Wiebe 722. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that part. I'm going to check that out. All right, Steve Wiebe, appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Nice things happen to nice people.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of that. I'm seriously, Steve.
Thanks, Spike.
I've known you over 20 years now, and you are a solid citizen, as genuine as they come. Congratulations on Lego recognizing your contribution to this moment in our cultural history, and well done, my friend.
Yeah, pretty special.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, check it out on Amazon, The Space Between Wonder and Why by Steve Wiebe. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. Be right back.
You couldn't play any Rush to take us out? Dude, come on.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Buckle up because it is a hot summer. And if you have poor or no insulation in your attic, you could be losing up to 40% of your energy efficiency in your home. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing, they've got you covered. This summer, you can bundle energy-saving attic insulation with a new roof and save 10%. Plus, with no money down on your project, you don't pay until your project is complete. Call 206 Roofing to save 10% when you bundle a new roof and attic insulation. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth.
If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, you do not have the time to deal with a market downturn.
With Mark Stimson and Casey Elkins.
It's important that you know what the rules are, because if you don't, you can make some tremendous decisions that could adversely affect you, and you may not be able to go back and fix them.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth, Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally draining, but it can be financially draining too. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, we have distributed over $3 million in direct financial assistance to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can make a direct impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel and Spa in Woodinville. It's an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Police say they are still trying to track down at least one suspect and a potential eighth victim in Sunday's shooting at the Bite of Seattle. The person checked into the hospital with a gunshot wound that night. Chief Sean Barnes says detectives have not been able to reach them yet.
If you are that person, or you know that person, or you're willing to give us information, you can do that anonymously. Please do that. This is a ongoing and a very complex investigation, and every piece, I think, is very, very important.
Sunday's shooting killed 3 people, including a 19-year-old suspect. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more from the mayor.
Mayor Wilson says Sunday's deadly shooting shows the city must treat gun violence with a new urgency. She's bringing in a national expert on youth and gun violence and will work with groups like the National Network for Safe Communities and Cure Violence Global to stop gun violence.
These are organizations with demonstrated track records of helping cities to stand up successful gun violence reduction strategies across the country.
Chief Barnes says detectives have now recovered 3 guns, and they now believe they could be looking for more than one suspect. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Kitsap County deputies are looking for a driver who crashed into a Domino's in unincorporated Port Orchard late Monday night, then took off. Sheriff's office says the Ford Fusion slammed into the building, leaving major damage. Witnesses say the man got out, saw the destruction, then jumped behind the wheel and drove away. We posted pictures of that damage at mynorthwest.com. With U.S. measles cases hitting levels not seen since 1991, a Seattle lab is racing to keep up. UW Medicine recently rolled out new testing equipment that can process patient samples sent in from all over the country. Infectious disease doctor Alex Greninger.
So the time we receive the sample to when we can result it, probably about 4 hours, 3.5 hours, which is very quick.
He says that faster turnaround is critical with a disease as contagious as measles, and the same technology lets that lab scale up from one test to hundreds of them. Time now to check KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
This one brought to us by Seattle Sports. Up in Everett, eastbound 526, we're packed leaving the Boeing plant. North 5 filling in between 526 And Highway 2, very typical for this time of day. South 5 heading into Seattle, doing pretty good. You're going to jam up there on the Ship Canal Bridge, and that carries you down to I-90. North 5, scattered backups from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge, about 20 minutes to get through this. Both directions of I-5 were crowded through South Center. South 405 is thick as you head through Factoria, Bellevue to Renton at 25 minutes. North 405 slows from South Center through the Renton S curves. And in Auburn, eastbound 18, just past the 167 interchange, a crash is on your right shoulder. Traffic jams up at the scene, and it's got you backed up all the way to I-5. And I'm just monitoring this new full closure in the Rainier Valley, Rainier Avenue South at South Massachusetts, just south of I-90. That intersection is blocked due to a building fire. Open a money market special online with 3.75 APR yield with full access to your money the entire time at harborstone.com/moneymarket, insured by NCUA. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Clouds hanging around for today and some showers also in the South Sound right now. Other than that, though, a calm week in store. Temperatures on the rise. Tomorrow, mid-70s, upper 70s, and low 80s for Thursday and Friday. Right now, 74 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. That was super fun having Steve Wiebe on the show. He's great. What a cool story. If you guys missed any of that, go back and listen to the podcast, or you can watch the YouTube, which is available every day after we get off the air. You can watch the entire show, 3 hours, nonstop, which we assume you're doing after every time. After you've listened to it, we assume you're going home and then rewatching the 3 hours just to make sure you didn't miss a second.
It's better with pictures.
It's better. Yeah, it's better as a video. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get into still. We got very little time to do it, so let's just jump right in. This came up today. There was a press conference. We started the show with this. There was a press conference today with Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes was at this one. And it kind of went off the rails, as these things have done. It's obviously there's a lot of reporters who want to get some information about some timelines about when they responded to the things and why. What their focus is the suspect? Is there a suspect on the loose? If there is the public in danger? If not, why not? Who are they suspecting? Who are they looking for? What does the person look like that they're looking for so the public can be helpful? That's one of the things that's confusing about this. During the press conference, Chief Barnes says, hey, if you guys have information, call this number, and he gives out a number. There's no description of the suspect.
Well,
it's a young person.
And Chief Barnes spoke
I see
to the
lots
fact
of
that,
young people walking around. I'm not going to call the police every time.
Well, one thing he did clarify in that 12 o'clock press conference was they received over 80 tips from SPD's tip line.
Yeah.
But there's been conflicting stories of what people saw. And that's eyewitness testimony is the least reliable testimony of all. Another argument for cameras, but that's a different story.
Cameras would be nice, yes.
But Chief Barnes said, look, we're comparing these stories from eyewitness tips.
Yeah.
And we find commonalities in these witness recounts, and that helps us build a profile that we can then share with the public. That's one of the reasons they haven't been able to give a description of the suspect or suspects was real to us that they still may be looking for.
Yeah. Let me say this too, because there's two stories happening simultaneously. One is the shooting, and then also the victims. There was the 3 people who died at the shooting, but they suspect that one of them is involved. That's the 19-year-old. There was then 2 other victims who were just completely innocent bystanders who had, like, one of them was a 44-year-old father of 3. The other one was, I think she was 56 years old.
56-year-old woman.
Daughter of two girls who recently moved to the area to be near her daughter who was starting out her new life with her new husband. Horrible, tragic stories of loss. And it could have been way worse, but horrible, tragic stories of loss. So that's one half of the story. The response from local officials is a whole nother side of the story. And that's what, unfortunately, these press conferences have devolved into. You have the mayor who's playing defense, responding to some question about whether or not they were waiting on dignitaries, which is why they waited 5 hours, apparently, to give initial updates the night it happened. And then on the other side, you have Chief Sean Barnes, who was out of town when it happened because, as has been reported, he is frequently out of town. because he is not originally from Seattle. His family's in Chicago.
His wife has an incredible career, a high-paying job in Chicago. His kids are finishing up a school experience in Chicago.
All completely understandable.
Absolutely.
But when you have a job like protecting a city that's a high-profile job, most people would assume that you would be here most of the time, aside from vacation, which happens.
I think it's a reasonable expectation.
Feels reasonable.
Of a chief of police.
But here's what happened. He was asked about that yesterday, and we have an update on this, which is what's so interesting. He was asked about that yesterday after a press conference, and it turned into kind of a scuffle. I'm going to play you that and what happened with the reporter. Barnes was literally walked out of the room by people who got in between him and this reporter for asking these questions. And then Barnes was again asked about that following up today. So I'm going to play the original inciting incident that we're going to talk about here. Here's Barnes and the reporter from yesterday.
I have been here working as hard as I can for this city from the day I got here. You got that?
There are reports but there are reports that you are not in town often.
Their reports are wrong. Do you understand? Let's go, man. Let's go. You understand?
So when
I work. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you.
So you can hear that Chief Barnes is getting very passionate, and it sounds kind of confrontational to me. The reporter there is Connor Nash. He's from the South Seattle Emerald. And Barnes was asked about that today at the press conference. And when you're responding to questions like this, you're not winning the game of PR. When you're responding to questions about the way that you're interacting with reporters, when people really should be caring about getting the gunman who's still on the loose, possibly, if it was a gunman who's still on the loose. I mean, it's certainly a suspect, they say. But if you're having to answer questions about your behavior towards reporters, things are not going the way you want them to. But this was Barnes today, asked about that incident.
Yesterday, that heated exchange following the press conference. What was that all about?
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as a heated exchange, but that's okay. Listen, I respect our media. I respect what you do. I consider you a big part of the community. I wish I could do it, but I don't have a face for television. But let me say this. I'm always passionate about what I do as a police officer. I'm always passionate about what I do as a community member, and sometimes that passion is in full display, especially if someone is questioning my work ethic or my integrity. But I understand that your job is to ask tough questions, and so I respect that. I want you to know that, and that's for everyone in here. You have a tough job, and I do understand that. You know, having a 2-year-old shot should evoke strong emotions in people. And
do you want to just squash the discourse about, you not being in town enough?
Yeah, part of being a leader is being here, being visible, and being present. Part of being a leader in a major city is that sometimes I have obligations, and I wanted to be at the conference to support one of our community members who was getting an award, and one of our community service officers that was also getting an award from the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. Thank you.
How often do you travel to Chicago? Your wife and kids still live there. I'd like to know how often on weekends you travel there, and who's paying for that?
Certainly, I don't travel as often as I would like to. I think any reports that I'm gone every weekend are grossly misstated. I don't have that kind of money. I'm here in Seattle. I love the neighborhood that I live in. I love my community. They love me. They know me. They see me all the time. Don't love the rent that I'm paying, but, affordability is something that we're working on. Is that right, Mayor?
Yikes.
So I feel good about being here in Seattle. I love this community. Thank you.
Honestly, I mean, he's making jokes about affordability, and this is not, they need a redirect. If I'm giving PR advice to this guy right now, I would say you need to redirect and say you're primarily focused right now on catching the suspect who's still on the loose, who possibly murdered people.
That's fair.
And then make jokes with the mayor after the fact about how it's unaffordable here. Yeah. Here's the other thing. He's getting paid $360,000 tax dollars a year for that job. Yeah. So I don't think people really want to hear about affordability from this guy. I've met him. I like him. He came in the studio. He struck me as a very nice guy.
I agree.
I understand the situation that he finds himself in. He's torn between two parts of the country.
Yeah.
His family is a very big draw. Everybody can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
But they're not newborns. The job is here.
Yeah, they're not newborns. And I don't mean any disrespect for the chief of the decisions that he makes. But he's the mayor, excuse me, I do this all the time. He's the chief of police for the city of Seattle, and there's a reasonable expectation from the city of Seattle that I know he travels not every weekend. That's overblown. That's over.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know, actually.
That's what I was about to say. How often do you leave town?
That's been asked, and they're being very, They're being very specific about not saying that.
And with regard to it, he wouldn't describe it as heated, the exchange yesterday between the reporter of the South Seattle Emerald and the chief of police. Your staff felt the need to step in between you and that reporter, Chief.
Felt pretty heated to me.
I don't know how you describe it any other way. Passion's great. I respect the fact that you love your city, you care about it, you're dedicated to the job, you work hard. We're not questioning your ethics. We're not questioning your work or your integrity. We're questioning the judgment of a police chief feeling he can be out of town X number of days a month and still be accountable to the city that's hired him to do this job.
It's also the city's fault because you have hired a guy who his entire life is not here. For me, my family is the most important thing in my life. So I want to be close to them. If I had to do a job across the country that required me to be away from my family, I would have I couldn't take that job. I would have to be near my family. Now, he has decided to be bi-coastal, or wherever, we're Chicago.
Yeah.
So I understand that they have made a different choice than I would make.
Yeah.
But if he's going to do the job here, he needs to be here for that job.
And and again, no disrespect to Chief Barnes, it's not a coding job. You're not a bank manager. You're accountable to a city that's counting on you.
Yeah.
To lead law enforcement
It's not a Zoom
in this
into
community.
work job.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if that's the case, I got more problems with the fact that the chief, that's in there now. Jeez. The chief didn't direct his department to inform the community in a timely manner. Yeah. I don't care where you're sitting in this country.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Last call coming up next. Your last chance to get your text messages in. Stick around.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Get any size high-efficiency AC for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service includes lifetime repairs and annual maintenance at no extra charge. Book your free estimate at cmheating.com today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
KIRO News Radio is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks in their preseason home opener, Saturday, August 15th.
To enter, open the KIRO Newsradio app or visit mynorthwest.com/win for details.
You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances.
Enter daily from July 28th through August 3rd.
Full details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
That's mynorthwest.com/win.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is last call. Last chance for you to get your text messages in. We got a bunch of them here. A lot of topics today. Spike? Or no, Laura, you jump in. Laura, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I forgot the order.
On earthquakes, Chuck in the UP says, Jake and Spike, our first house was built in 1944, and it too just sat on the foundation until my wife and I had it anchored. I think that Washington State mandated anchoring homes to the foundation only in the early 1970s.
So it wasn't just us. And that's a good, thanks, Chuck. We felt like, what am I got? You know, we couldn't believe.
Even a screw into the ground or something. It
was sitting on, and that was standard practice during the construction in the early 20th century.
Nobody thought during any one of those earthquakes, it's like, hey, the entire neighborhood has moved a foot.
Could just slide on down the hill on the western slope of Queen Anne.
What a bizarre.
Yeah,
interesting.
On today's new information about the Bite of Seattle shooting, including one of the weapons being a ghost gun, Dennis in the 253 says, Polymer 80 guns are sold as kits, where final fit and finishings are done by the buyer. Just because a magazine holds a particular number of rounds doesn't mean it was fully loaded all the way. In 28 years as cop, it was rare to find a gun from a bad guy where the magazine was fully loaded.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, because one of the guns he said had like a 37-round mag, the other one had a 40-round mag, but he's totally right. They might have
doesn't mean that they discharged 14 in this melee. Yeah.
Jim in Arlington says, I can think of 3 new laws to pass to stop this kind of gun violence. No ghost guns, no magazines over 10 rounds, and no full auto modifications. Oh, yeah, we already have those laws, says Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Dan in Federal Way says, with the recently concluded massive crowds at the Seattle World Cup, having 0 serious incidents recorded, it should seem protecting an event the size of the Bite would be child's play in comparison. Seems like a leadership issue here.
It is interesting, and it's a stark contrast to, there was a lot of, here's the difference. Katie Wilson was not in charge of the World Cup. They had a bunch of agencies. They had the FBI in town. They had everybody.
And let's be honest, Mayor Harrell probably did most of the pre-planning for that. It happened pretty fast after she was elected.
I don't know how much she was involved in that. She obviously got to be front and center because of her job, but you're totally right. Like, it's all the other agencies who made sure that was safe. In fact, they kind of had to drag her into it, kicking and screaming. Right up until like a week before the game, she was still sitting there saying, like, no cameras, no cameras. And everybody was like, you realize that we're the only host city with no cameras.
Right. Out of 11 U.S. cities. So thank heaven for the other agencies involved in helping the mayor make that decision. Yeah. Okay, where are we at here? 206 says, I hope someone is looking ahead to Bumbershoot. We will say this, because this was addressed in that press conference this afternoon, too. Chief Barnes, and I'll never get it wrong again, I swear to you, said there will be
it's all right.
Upstaffing for all remaining summer events in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing they were committed to. Upstaffing at all remaining summer events in Seattle.
I would be interested in all the after-action stuff once they have, completed their investigation, done everything they need to do. I would be interested to find out how many dedicated police they actually had for the event. Because we played that audio of that, food reviewer, whoever that guy was on TikTok, going around the day before the shooting. He was making a video saying, like, there is no security here.
Well, that he was, but I also saw in some of we talked about the YouTube videos that people are posting, influencers or vendors or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of blue running into the fray.
No, I'm happy that the police who responded did.
There wasn't nobody on
site. And thank God that they got the gunman, at least one of them. But still, I'd be interested to find out, like, how many dedicated police officers. Because certainly for an event like Bumbershoot, would you go to something like that, Bumbershoot, after this event?
Yeah.
You would?
I would. Yeah, I would.
I'd probably sit that one out. On the 5-hour wait for dignitaries after the shooting, Tina in Seattle says, sounds like it's time for text messages to be deleted and somebody's phone to be dropped in the deep blue Puget Sound. People's lives over politics. I'm not sure I understand this text. Is she talking about text messages from the mayor's office? What is she talking about?
I think it's a little Summer of Love reference.
Yeah, it's a throwback. Remember the phone that were text messages were erased?
Oh,
with regard to CHOP.
Yes.
Yeah. Mayor Wilson has said on the record multiple times now that nobody told her to hold the press conference. So I think Tina's saying, if there's any evidence to the contrary, time to get rid of it quick.
All right. I understand this now.
Good time for one more, buddy. You pick.
Let's do Ben from Mercer Island. He says Jimothy could have handled the situation better. That's all we need to say.
I long for Jimothy in days like we've had.
Simple times of Jimothy.
Yeah.
Good golly. All right, John Curley's coming up next. We will see you back here tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's two things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
you? I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, big boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap, just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company.